We are live. We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Talk Talk Live. We are back here on a Monday night. Yes, indeed. Is it a rare occasion? Maybe not a rare occasion, but a rare occasion nonetheless. I thought it'd be a little tropical today. Thought it'd be a little Hawaiian wear, as they say. But thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live as we are in the middle of summer. Love it, love it, love it. Can never complain about summer, even though there are the forest fires that's happening up north. Praying for those families who have to go through those things. Hopefully, no lives or property that is Talk Talk Live members or anyone pretty much is damaged during that time. But yeah, now Trump is complaining about the forest fires and the pollution that is leaking into the United States, even though there are like thousands of forest fires in the United States that leak into Canada, but we tend to not pay any mind. But it's Donald Trump, right? Right. So thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers as we do, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward. Let me see. Sarah Short. I don't know who that Sarah Shorter is, anyways. Well, anyways. Oh, yeah, Sarah Short. Sarah Short. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. That's right. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I see her and see you, but just making sure that the emojis too are out there. So they should be coming in any time now just to make sure that we are good. But we are going to continue on Talk Talk Live and everything is going, it seems, very smoothly. So thank you very much on Instagram and on the UBS Tubius and for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. So let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. The big news of the day. It is the arrest of the one and only Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate recently this weekend in Florida. Yeah, we had to lead with this because this is breaking news all over, and everybody's having their say on the subject, including us here in Talk Talk Live, as this is a man who is pretty much one of the leaders of the New Age Red Pill, including the likes of Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit, and Roland Tomasi et al. So and Michael Sartain of course, and many others. So again, this is yeah, this is again they've been trying to get this man off the radar for years. And also, they've done movies, including Adolescence, about him, and the like. And it's just been going on and on. So again, we are you know waiting with bated breath as to what new charges are being available here. So we're just going to find out about those charges here on Talk Talk Live. So thank you very much for joining me as we break in with this new information from the UK. Actually, as the UK are asking for Andrew Tate to be extradited for various counts, for various criminal charges. And yeah, well, listen, at the end of the day, in my opinion, just to get rid of the suspense. They're trying to literally silence the voice of one of the male leading male voices, male improvement voices out there, and again, the gynocracy never sleeps, ladies and gentlemen, as you do know. So we are here and ready to get into this, and Lord knows the cucks of the world are trying to get our man Mr. Tate out of here. So again, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen, with the first video coming from. Let's get into the smoothest, ubiest, tubiest. Here we are with the one and only uh sorry, a Legion of Men, sorry. Shout out to the Legion of Men doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. And yeah, he's doing very, very well against Steve's T's. Lana BK, thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk Live as we move forward. Just check in with me on YouTube, Lana, that'd be greatly appreciated. And his video, let's just get it highlighted: Andrew Tate arrested in Florida and extradited to the UK. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. So let's get into it here. Sign up to Tribe of Men, Legion of Men, doing wonderful things in YouTube streets as he gives us the lowdown on what happened to Andrew Tate, and we'll have other takes from the likes of Chisha said, and we'll be reporting on this very, very, very shocking and controversial information coming from one of the leading men for male improvement and male empowerment. So let's get into this here on Talk Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me.
News here. Apparently, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were arrested. Let's look at it.
Mind signing?
By the U.S. Marshals, no less.
Mr. Tate, would you mind signing?
Tate.
Come back. Oh shit! Come over here by me. Wow.
As you can see, this is Andrew Tate just being arrested here when he was in Miami. He was supposed to be emceeing a boxing show, but also he was supposed to be attending Fresh and Fit tonight. Actually, Andrew and Tristan Tate were supposed to be appearing on Fresh and Fit tonight. So again, the meeting of some of the two titans within the Red Pill, and that will not happen as Andrew Tate has been arrested by the U.S. Marshals and soon to be extradited to the U.K. if they don't have charges already for them here. Let's continue.
This time in the United States, by the way. So apparently what's happening is the UK is requesting a extradition. They're being charged with Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. It says charged in the UK as prosecutors seek their extradition from the United States. 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, 19 additional charges for offenses related to indecent images of a child and extreme. Wow. What? Offenses related to indecent.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to these charges here. 7 counts of the R word. That's a serious charge. 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. 3 counts of assault occasioning actual body harm, and 19 charges of offenses relating to indecent images of a young person in extreme corn, ladies and gentlemen. And quite simply, they're trying to get Andrew on the worst charges possible. Now, again, if these charges are real, absolutely, they should be prosecuted to the nth degree and to the highest level. However, something tells me that they want the worst of the worst charges stuck against one Andrew Tate and one Tristan Tate. Well, I don't think Tristan Tate has all these charges. I think this is basically to Andrew because Andrew is the biggest voice, so they want to get him on all charges. So it's very, very much like this has a certain smell of Diddy on this because they tried to. They did not like the way how Diddy was living the high life and being quote unquote exploitative of women, even though a lot of these women, including a lot of these women, were absolutely they gave their consent to many of these things. Actually, they were they started many of these ideas, and so they want to get a man like Diddy off the streets, and all they can do was get him for the unmistakable N act, as Dave Chappelle would say, aka the Man Act. They wanted him off the streets, so they have him off the street for 2 years. So I see the same thing happening here, except they really want to get this guy off the street. So therefore, they put 19 additional charges of child corn. And if they put that on you, then they really want to not only they want to ruin his life, but also ruin his reputation. They really want to get this guy gone. So anything and everything's going to be thrown in the stand as long as it tries to stick. Let's continue. Oh, sorry. Let's just move on here. Oh my gosh, that's interesting how that happened. Let's go.
Sent images of a child and extreme. Wow. What?
As you can see, they're trying to remove his chains that he had on, some of his platinum chains, and any regalia that he may have. So they don't take it from while he's in custody. See if they can move this forward just a tiny bit. There we go. As you can see, they're walking out Andrew into U.S. Marshals vehicle.
What sucks is that, if the marshals get you, you're pretty much getting extradited. And it seems like the paperwork was already pushed through. If these counts are true with what's being reported that they're going to get charged with, he's absolutely cooked. You're going to the UK, the land where they have two-tier policing. Muslims get away with rape and grooming gangs. White people get arrested for the smallest offenses or if they cry to racism. And he's going to that country to be tried for God knows what that they brought up. They've been having a problem with this guy for the longest time. They even have like what is it, misogyny or anti-manosphere training for young boys in schools there. But they don't talk about the Muslim side of that, where the women are being attacked by predominantly Muslim men and shit like that.
Yeah, because they're not getting any sort of intimate attention, if you know what I mean. So they have these gangs running around to you know, uh, get their jollies. Anyways, which is a shame, and not uh, to be sure, it is not condoned here on Talk Talk Live or by myself, E Rock here. Yeah, it's yeah, it's a bit of a shame that well, it's not a shame. It's a bit of a railroad act that you know they want to they listen. In the UK, they really want Andrew Tate's teachings off the record because this is a man of UK origin and he's very very popular in the UK. I lived there for 7 years myself, so and was recently back there, and I've seen a lot of the rise of Andrew Tate happening myself. And quite simply, they want him off the they want him off the census, ladies and gentlemen. So they they're propaganding their initiatives to try and do so by such movies as Adolescence. They try to besmirch the name of him there, and also going into the schools and trying to getting rid of manosphere slash red pill teachings there. It's reprehensible, quite simply. The UK is now a cuck nation, quite simply, and well. The gynocracy have them by the short and curlies, and there aren't any real men anymore, even though they built an empire on said men. So let's continue.
In a real misogynist culture, which is Islam, according to Western ideals and standards, right? The feminists and the progressives are really quiet on that part. I find this extremely interesting. And if I were him, I mean, he got caught off guard there too. He like backed up for a second. He was not ready for that. And there's like a glimpse right there of, oh shit. Look at, oh, damn.
Yeah, this is very much um, a staged arrest. He was not ready for this. They were waiting, lying in wait for him, making sure that he was on U.S. soil, making sure that he was comfortable, and and letting him let his guard down a bit, saying that he can walk, he can do what he wants. Well, now back in the states, and they nabbed him. They literally nabbed him. He was not ready for this.
Yeah, it's not like getting arrested in Romania. Look, you could use your influence and your weight in Eastern Europe to kind of get out of charges and shit. We all know the corruption. Um, and then you could go on house arrest at your own house. Here, dude, the marshals took you. You're going in the U.S. prison system and then getting extradited first thing to the U.K. where you're done for. If they're true or not. If they're true, go to jail, rot. Cool story. We all agree on that. If they're not true, then they fabricated evidence to finally get this guy for charges that happened, I don't know, when are these supposed to have happened? Decades ago? Like over 10 years ago or something like that? So they're bringing up charges from 10 years ago to get this guy in prison. And in the UK, he's going to get charged. There's no way he's not bribing himself out of anything. They're ideologically possessed. So him and his brother are pretty much gone. No matter what
Well,
count.
listen to the charges they have against him. Right? They have the R word. They have intimate trafficking, and also um, child porn. The triumvirate of bad male charges are laid against Andrew Tate. They really want him out of here. They do not want this man to be an influence on on the male psyche anymore. They want him gone. They want him gone. They want him gone, and they're making absolutely sure of it. And again, the U.S. Having an extradition treaty with the U.K. are only too willing to oblige, and it's a shame that a man who's used free speech to great effect is now um, being silenced because quite simply he is influencing men and making a difference in their lives quite simply, and they don't want to hear that. The gynocracy do not want that at all. Feminist ideals do not want that at all because they're everywhere. They're anywhere and everywhere, and any such man well, if of a certain size, including myself, if I get large, I may charges may come after these people may come after me, even though I have a spotless record. I have not been involved in any such things. And it's a shame that we have to go through this in 2026. But again, the gynocracy is real, ladies and gentlemen, and they are ready to cuck any and all men in the Western world. Let's continue.
Or evidence they might have. And he wrote, or he said something, the UK government is corrupt. And let's see what he said.
Let me clear up.
And this is, I don't know when this was posted. It says July 18, but that's not a beach in Miami where he's at. So that might be somewhere else. Something he said earlier. Because I'm pretty sure once you get taken in by the marshal, you're not getting released.
This news you're seeing on the timeline. The British state has accused me of a crime. They said 15 years ago I did something I wasn't supposed to do and I'm a criminal. But they won't tell me who against. They won't tell me where it happened. They won't tell me when it happened. They just said 15 years ago you did a crime. And I said, okay, against who? We're not telling you. In case you tweet it. Why would I tweet it? What are you talking about? Tell me who I committed this crime against so I can defend myself. Nope. We're not going to let you defend yourself. You're accused of a crime. You're charged with a crime. We won't tell you who against. And I said, well, then how do I put a defense together? And they said, well, if you come to England, we'll tell you. I said, sure, I'll come to England. No problem. All I want to know is, can you guarantee I will not be remanded in custody? They said, no, we're not going to guarantee you that. If you come to England, there's a strong chance you're going to go to Belmarsh, remanded in custody for years, pre-trial. And I'm like, so you are...
Okay, if you don't know where Belmarsh is, Belmarsh Prison is in southeast London. My uncle used to always tell me, stay out of trouble or else you'll go to Belmarsh. It is, I say, a maximum security prison, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the worst of the worst go, and that's where they're trying to put Andrew Tate, with the worst of the worst. Because they deem him as the worst of the worst, because he's trying to empower young men. He's the worst of the worst because he's trying to empower young men. Right? Now, again, they say by misogynistic means. No, and I haven't yet to see any woman say that he has been misogynistic to them. I see him as being a perfect gentleman. But again, women don't like the fact that men are waking up to his home truths. Let's continue.
Accusing me of a crime. You've issued a warrant. You won't tell me who the crime was committed against, if they even exist, because they don't. These are made-up victims, completely made up. They have people hiding behind anonymity and just attacking me, demanding millions of euros, millions of dollars for things that happened in 2009. Nobody's telling me what these things are. Nobody's telling me who these people are. Nobody's telling me when they happened, where they happened, nothing. And they're saying if I go to jail, they'll tell me, but I have to fly to England and put myself in jail. And I know you're wondering, how come when Britain, as it collapses, it doesn't give a about grooming gangs, doesn't give a about the stabbings, doesn't care about the drugs on the street, doesn't care about any of the real crime. How come they keep talking about Andrew Tate? That's because I highlight the problems with the country. They don't want to fix the problems. They want to get rid of me for talking about the problems. So why do I get to travel the world so freely? Why have I been to 25 countries this year? Because when I land in Hong Kong and the British government calls the authorities and say, we need Andrew Tate, we have a warrant, the authorities say, well, what's the warrant for? And who's it against? And the British state says, we don't want to tell you who the victims are. The victims don't exist, so no country will extradite me. So I'm traveling the world completely free. No country respects England anymore. Nobody's sending me to them. I'm living as a free man. They keep putting...
Outside of the United States, nobody respects the UK pretty much anymore anyway. So a lot of the UK, especially the well-to-do, well-heeled, are leaving the UK quite simply. Outside of the royal family, because of their tax structures, they're leaving to more favorable tax havens. Saint Tropez and the like. Let's continue.
on the BBC that they want to get hold of me, and I'm saying, tell me who my accuser is, and I'll come talk to you. And they're like, no, because they've completely made it up. They've made it up to slander me in the media over and over and over again. Their intention is to just lie about me, lie about charges, lie about victims, lie, so that I don't support Rupert or I don't support Farage.
Yep, bro is done for. So he's headed to the UK. There you go, been put in the cars. And the only way he's getting out of this, if like the Trump admin, somehow if this was like a lower level person, not within the administration, but within like the apparatus that deals with extraditions and stuff like that, responded to the request. I mean, he wasn't wanted in Florida anyways, I believe. The governor hates him. I think a couple of high-end officials don't like him in Florida. So Ron DeSantis for sure doesn't like him. This is interesting.
Anything to say?
And believe me, the U.S. Marshals made sure that the media were notified, like TMZ. I believe TMZ has covered this as well. They made sure that they were there when they went to take down Andrew Tate. There's no doubt about that. They informed certain piece of media, influential media, that they are going to get this guy, and they went to get him. Absolutely. So this is a surprise to Andrew, but not to the U.S. Marshals and many within the media. Let's continue.
Lawfare. Lawfare, yeah. It's crazy because before you get famous, none of this shit ever happens, right? Then you get famous, then people come out of the woodwork accusing you of shit.
Miami. Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested by US authorities in Miami as British prosecutors seek extradition of the pair on rape and sex trafficking charges. The charges against them were not immediately announced by US authorities. The former professional kickboxers turned controversial influencers have amassed a following of millions of people online professing.
Yeah, it's so dangerous. Listen to this, professing this.
Hypermasculinity and a lifestyle of luxury.
Oh my God, jail them. And women are fawning over them because of the hyper masculinity of luxury that every woman wants today. They're rapists.
Exactly. They're now they're considered R words. They're considered intimate traffickers, and they're child pornographers, which is stunning. Which is literally stunning. Again, they want to try. They threw the triumvirate at guys who literally laughed in government faces. They did not like the fact that these guys were making fools of the elites. Well, I wouldn't say the elites. Well, how shall I say, the gynocratic elites. How's that? They did not want people making fun of the gynocratic elites at all, and so and laughing in their faces, and still televising on the likes of even YouTube, on Kick, on Rumble to this day, and so I think they're banned off YouTube, but they're definitely on Rumble and Kick. So they didn't want them there. So guess what? They just said, let's go get him. Let's go get him. This guy's becoming too powerful, too influential, and we don't like him laughing in our faces. All of our gynocratic states and the cucks and the simps that are with them there, they did not like it. So they wanted this guy out of here. So they went to get him. That's what it comes down to. And they made sure that the charges that they laid that were performed 15 years ago, they made sure that they were the worst of the worst charges. R word, 7 counts of R word. Then you had the intimate trafficking. Then you had the child porn. Anything to make sure that this man's name is mud, absolute mud. Continue.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know what they did, and I'm not defending any of this shit. I don't know who the people are accusing them of whatever. I just know the system today is up. Lawfare is real. Corruption and rot in the institutions is real. They slander you first in the media, and then the machine turns against you. They've done it to Trump. They've done it to a bunch of other people, and they've done it to Kavanaugh. They've done it to, was it Kavanaugh? Yeah, it was Brett Kavanaugh, and then they've done it to, well, the Pence rule exists for a reason. Mike Pence, same thing. He won't be alone in a room with a woman because it just puts you at risk. Look, they just need to place you somewhere with a woman alone, and then charges can be fabricated. The woman can be paid off, and then you're going to prison. This is so dangerous today. If you're coming up and somehow gaining notoriety or fame for your craft or the internet or your channels or whatever it is that's going on with you, business, right? You're doing well in business. You don't even have to be famous. You just got to you got to have money. That's pretty much it. Every woman you've ever been with, every woman you've ever talked to, every woman you've ever been alone in a room with becomes a point of weakness in your entire empire that they can and will use to destroy you.
And yet we have people that are in the Epstein files still walking free and never seeing any sight of jail. Okay, your favorite your favorite billionaires such as Bill Gates, your favorite politicians such as a man that I definitely like, Bill Clinton, and even the one and only President of the United States, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. They are still walking free and clear, and all of their elite cronies are still out there not to be charged because, again, this is a conspiracy. They take down they take down one person to allow, well, now in this case, two people to allow the others to do their things in silence, which is, you know, flying off, be it flying off to an island to enjoy the same child corn and children, quite simply. That's because they're under the age of 18, in positive silence, ladies and gentlemen. But again, they won't see the light of day, and you saw what happened to the one and only Mr. Epstein himself. Let's continue.
Sucks about it is if you are a man in these positions, you have a ton of women, a ton of these situations happening, a ton of this experience. All women want you. They're all constantly undressing for you. You have rotations going all the time. You have a whole roster of women, and they're okay sharing. And it just takes one scorned woman that wants to, I don't know, get one up on you for not being able to, you know, break the stallion and have you all to herself. So then she's going to get paid $50K, $100K, whatever amount of money it takes to get her to say whatever she needs to say in order to put you away. Right? So you make enemies. So he made enemies of the UK government and the woke leftist ideology. All those proponents, all those that are pushing that shit. And they essentially just instantly called him a rapist and a sex trafficker. And it's like, hey, bro, have you looked at the Rupert Lowe grooming gang? Have you checked that entire document? Have you seen 250 plus, potentially more, hundreds of thousands of British white girls being essentially groomed and sex trafficked within your own country, hidden by police, actively had police in on the grooming, mostly perpetrated by Muslim men? And it's like, you're not addressing that. The government turns away on that. But the real misogynist, the real problem, the toxic masculinity is some dude just talking about his Bugatti and living a life of luxury. Like that.
Well, again, that's the problem. Indeed, you're right. You're right. I forget his name, but the man from Legion of Men. Listen, you're absolutely right. They don't want a man living the lifestyle the way he does. He doesn't. They don't like it. They don't like it. Listen, if they could, they would go after Drake, but Drake's too influential, and because he's the Playboy bachelor that's literally living a life of Andrew Tate, but he's not arrested. But again, well, they try to get him on, they not like us, and that's their thing. But Drake is he's a very successful man. Let's just say that. But anyways, so they miss a Drake, but they'll go after an Andrew Tate because Andrew Tate's living the same lifestyle. He's very persuasive with women. Women love him, and he lives a life where he has 6 or 7 women on location, and the gynocracy hates that. The gynocracy hates that. Feministas hate that. he has such good looks, is able to protect himself, and also um, able to live the life he lives in freedom. And they don't like that, and they hate they number one hate the fact that in doing so he is very influential to young men. That's why they're trying to wipe it out of wipe it the UK, which is stunning to me, trying to wipe it out of the existence of young men, even though it'll only grow and grow as the movement continues. And if they ever take down, you can see what happened to Kevin Samuels. The same thing will happen to Andrew Tate, and also, they try to besmirch him in the media as well. So again, listen, we all know the game here. This is all trumped up charges, and they'll continue to try to silence a guy like Andrew Tate because the gynocracy can't take a man like Andrew Tate waking up a dormant male public. Let's continue.
That's the real problem in the eyes of the UK, which is the reason why I believe that if he does get extradited, if there's nobody that gets in between this from, say, like the Trump admin, because he's supposed to have friends in the Trump admin, Barron likes him and is a fan and shit like that. So if they don't get involved directly, it's over for him. He's going to prison. Innocent, guilty, he's going to prison, which is an insane state for society. It's never been more dangerous to be a man today. Like, we live in a gynocracy. This is like feminazi society that we're living in, pushed by woke left ideologies that puts women.
Well, it's pushed by Simpson cucks. Let's call a spade a spade. It's pushed by Simpson cucks. Okay. No two ways about it. If you're not a simp, if you're not a cuck, if you're not bowing to at the feet of women and living a lifestyle to which they wish you to be, married with one woman and only and giving all your money to that woman until she has it in her mind to divorce you, and then you have to give her half. Then the gig is up. Then and you're not contributing to that society and not contributing to female hypergamy and basically being a productive member to society, but it's a productive member to women. To be fair, if you don't end up on that side of things, well, they want you out of here, and they don't like the fact that Andrew lives the life he lives. They don't like the fact that men live the life the way. If it's supposed, here's the thing: they want you to do it in silence. They don't want you to do it in public. They don't want to do it out loud. They don't want you to do it with uh, with you with in full confidence and in view of these ladies, because they'll take a take a dim view to you, and quite simply they'll want you out of here because you'll become too influential, especially in the likes of UK. The fact that they have all these charges trumped up, and it's been since 2017, you think that the statute of limitations would have run out on these things, but not for Andrew. Definitely not, especially being as influential as he is. Let's continue.
In a privileged position, they're the real first class citizens. Because you could do this. You can accuse a man. Remember, he's accused of shit, doesn't know who's accusing him, can't see the evidence, can't defend himself until after he's already been arrested, and then he gets to see everything. Like that just sounds insane. So a woman could just falsely accuse a man, and plenty of cases have been happened like that, where a false accusation ruins a man's life and then is retracted.
Well, that happened to the Yale Law School case where a man had a intimate evening with a woman. It got around. She felt insecure about things and dirty and such, and accused him of rape, even though all such things were trumped up. Were trumped up. She did not want to, and she eventually being found out that she was indeed lying, but it forced said gentleman to be expelled from Yale Law School. So 100,000, well, 400 to $500,000 a year career was thwarted because of a woman's, accusation, and false accusation at that. So this has happened time in and time out. If a woman feels scorned, you're out of here, baby. So you got to make sure she gets home, guys. Make sure that you are playing it safe. If you have a rotation, don't let it out too loud. Don't Make sure that you are indeed on the straight and the narrow with women, because women, all it needs is one accusation and you're out of here. And you're literally out of here. And that's exactly what we can learn from this Andrew and Tristan Tate saga, is that if you upset the gynocracy or any individual within it, you're toast, dude. You are literal toast. You've got to be watching your back. You've got to be recording. You've got to make sure that you are truly vigilant on all fronts, or else they'll bag you too. Let's continue.
Proceedings or years later, but it's too late. The guy already had his reputation destroyed. His wife left him. His kids hate him. His friends abandoned him. His community shuns him. And then the retraction comes years later. And like, how do you?
Oh, I didn't even talk about Trevor Bauer. A well, the pitcher from the Cleveland Indians, uh, that was borderline Cy Young Award nominee, and his life was ruined by a woman accusing him of rape, and he having to now pitch in Mexico. And these are all trumped up charges. These are all false accusations. But would MLB reinstate this gentleman? No. Once a once an accused R word, always an accused R word. So there you go. Another life ruin, and there are thousands of others as well that don't come to mind. But again, all it takes is one woman's accusation to ruin your. And it's literally an accusation. All it takes is one woman's accusation, and that can ruin your life. Also, I didn't even recall this. The gentleman in the UK. What am I saying here? Jesus. What's his name? The star from Top Boy. One of the stars from Top Boy was recently accused of rape by a woman, and it was consensual sex. He was involved in legal proceedings. Comment down below who that person is. Do let me know. But he was recently accused of R word. Just say, okay, hold on. Let me just do Let me do an Omaha here. Let me do an Omaha. Let me do an Omaha. Yes. Let me see here. Here we go. And yes, indeed. The Omaha will be Top Boy Star. Here we go. I'll do it here. Star Boy cast. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. I'll tell you who it is. Yes, Michael Ward. There he is. Jamie. Michael Ward. This gentleman right here. He was accused of actual rape. Sorry, R word. Recently. And there it is right now. Here we go. Bang. Top Boy actor found not guilty of rape. There we go. Bang. There it is. There it is. There it is. Shoot. I knew I had a memory about this. Here we go. Top Boy actor Michael Ward not found guilty of R word. British actor Michael Ward has been cleared of R word. A woman who claimed he had attacked her in the back of a car. Ward 28 denied the two charges of R word and three charges of SA. And a jury at Snaresbrook Crown Court, which is in London, acquitted him of all counts on Friday. This has just recently happened. He had met the woman who cannot be named for legal reasons. She cannot be named for legal reasons. The woman who accused this man and pretty much could have ruined his career cannot be named for legal reasons. Make that make sense. She literally is a lover scorned, but no, don't name her. See how the gynocracy works? Let's continue. He had met the woman who cannot be named for legal reasons at an East London nightclub January 2nd, 2023. BAFTA Award winner Ward, who is best known for his for the film Blue Story and Netflix series Top Boy, said everything we did was wholly consensual. During the trial, Ward told the jury he thought they were having a great time. The court heard the actor who played the gang leader Jamie in Top Boy, though the woman was very cute when he met her and sensed there was interest there. He asked her to join him in the car where there was a continuation of the flirting. She was reciprocating the energy. She was pulling me close for that. For that, for me, that was an inviting act, and we had both enjoyed the moment. Ward said, adding that she had never mentioned anything about wanting to leave. He told the jury she had seemed absolutely fine and had a nice, engaging general conversation. Later, they exchanged messages. He sent a smiling emoji with a heart, and she told him to enjoy the rest of his night. In court, the woman broke down, and she gave a different account. She said that she never would have gotten in that car with him if she knew, if she had known what happened. She denied she denied to Sally Bennett Jenkins, KC. KC is King's counsel, um, who was King's counsel, who is basically Michael Ward's lawyer, defending for Ward, as I stated, that it was consensual, telling the court that Michael raped me. R-worded me. Sorry about that. The woman said she completely shut down and did not use the word no during the alleged attack. She said she repeatedly told Ward she needed to leave on multiple occasions. This is her accusations. On the way home with a friend, she ordered an STI kit, ticking a box asking if she had been SA'd. When Ward was arrested on January 18th, that year, he had told police in a reported statement, "I deny the allegation of R word. I want to put on the record that we had consensual foreplay and consensual segs." Career put on hold. Here we go. The actor was given a BAFTA Rising Star Award in 2020 and was later nominated twice for his roles in BBC Small Axe and the 2022 film Empire of Light. Speaking outside the court, his solicitor Hamza Hayas said it has been 3.5 years since the police started investigating this matter, during which time of Michael's life, as well as his successful career, has been put on hold. This was inevitably had a profound impact on him and those close to him. Let me just see if I can expand this a little further. So you got there we go. Michael is thankful that the process has now reached its conclusion. He looks forward to getting back to doing work he loves and focusing on his career. At the start to rebuild his life, Michael would like to acknowledge those who have experienced SA. They deserve to be heard, treated with compassion. But see, this is what I'm saying. And it goes on and on and on. He thanks God, he thanks his family, he thanks his people. This is what I'm saying. You can literally ruin a career. It happened to Trevor Bauer. It happened to Michael Ward. It's happening to the Tates right now, simply on an accusation. It happened to the accusation to the Yale law student. It happens again and again and again. And guess where it's happening as well? It's happening with who's accused recently. Listen, it happens literally every day. If a woman feels scorned, all she has to do is accuse him of R-word. That's how reprehensible and how low down certain women can be. Not saying all women. Certain women can be in order to get revenge on men because they felt like a lover scorned and they felt they want all a man's attention. Put the R-word on him. Put it on him. Put it on him. Absolutely disgusting. These people should be sued to the highest hill. I don't care if they have no money. Just on principle, sue them or throw them in jail. This has got to stop. And this is how you cuck males. And this is how you this is how you basically get rid of testosterone. A man can't be a man anymore because a woman feels that she was not given enough attention and adulation over a certain period of time. It is sickening how this society is, but a man's life could be ruined simply because of a woman's accusation. Because this sticks to him like glue wherever he goes, wherever he does, for the next 10, 15, 20 years, if that, maybe the rest of his life. And the same is going for the Tates. There's no difference. It's just that one guy has one man was a woman scorned, another man has influence on the male society in the Western world. The most searched man on the internet, period. That's who they want out. And they want all men out who do not fall subservient to the gynocracy itself. And this is what we're dealing with today. And it's a damn shame. It's an absolute damn shame that we are in this gynocratic state as of today. And it's not stopping. It's going unabated. It's going out there unabated. I will let my man, Legion of Men, finish.
Quantify the damages there that man is now owed by the false accuser. Like, women should be put to death for shit like that. Seriously, false accusations need a death penalty. Like, they're some of the worst around. Putting a man in prison, like so many guys, you remember those videos where the guys are getting out of prison, like 10, 20 years of prison, and the woman like retracts, she recants on saying that he was the guy that raped her and the rape never happened. Like that.
Yeah, it happened to a football player. A football player about 15 years ago. He was on his way to the NFL. He had a one night stand with a woman. She felt that she she wasn't going to get the bag at the end of the day, and so she put an R word on him. She put an R word accusation on him, and guess what? He spent like 15 to 20 years in jail for something that was not that he denied vehemently throughout his sentencing, throughout his time in jail, and it's only through a sting on said person where she confessed to the fact that she put an R word on him, and he did nothing of the sort, that he was actually released, and that was 20 years later. I'm telling you, it's a war on men. It's a war on men. It's a war on men. And I tell you, feminism is it's not an equality movement. It's a superiority movement, and it is going out there unabated. And men, you've got to watch your backs. You got to make sure that that you're living your life, even if you're living a life like Andrew Tate, in silence. Because if you aren't, they'll come to get you too. Let's continue.
Blows me away. The guy is owed for a mistrial, first of all, millions of dollars. And then second of all, that woman needs to absolutely have all her assets in the last 20 years while that guy was in prison taken away. And she needs to pay him something akin to, like, you know, how alimony is just for women. You need to pay him a sustenance fee out of your paycheck forever. And if you're married, then your husband's going to have to foot that bill. Your family's going to have to foot. You're going to have to sell assets to pay for that man something like $100,000 a year. Sustenance.
Unfortunately, most of these women are broke. The same woman with Trevor Bauer, the same woman with Michael Ward, the same woman with Andrew Tate. Most of these women are broke. You can't get anything. As Andrew would say, you're broke. You're fucking poor. Yeah, these ladies are all broke, but they are women scorned. So guess what? They're trying to get their comeuppance in any way, shape, or form they can. Trying to remember this. This other lean. It'll come to me. It'll come to me after a while. But it happens time in and time out. It never fails. That's listen. You'd say listen. You'd say that well, the top women, the richest women in the world, get their money through inheritance or divorce. Well, there's a third one now, and it's called R accusation. Because they don't want they don't want this man in jail. They want his money. They want his money. So you have got to be extra careful, gentlemen, around ladies these days. I kid you not. And you know what the safest thing is? Seriously, being in a long-term relationship, and getting some on the side, following the cheating rules of no. DJ Wayne, what's up? How are you? Getting getting yourself the following the cheating rules of no babies, no STDs, no big ticket items, and no embarrassment. If you follow those four rules and you have a listen, that's the way you got to do it these days. That's the only way you're going to do it. You cannot be the champagne poppy who has got 6 or 7 girls on rotation, because women don't like that. They don't want men having the lifestyle and the freedom to sleep, to be with and sleep with who they want. They hate that. So, if you're hated enough, they'll put an R word on you. They'll put it on you. They'll put it on you as the day is long. They'll put it on. You've got to be extra careful as a gentleman, because you've seen the examples I've already shown you. Women scorned will do anything and everything to upset your life and upset what you worked so hard to build. Let's continue.
Fee. Because you put him in prison for that long. Like, you're owed. You are owed for being falsely accused. And people get away. Like, this shit's too easy. Girls at school, man, school boys are being falsely accused of rape just because some chick, makes out with a guy, and then her girlfriends laughed at her and was like, ew, he's kind of ugly. And then in order to avoid shame and be part of the in-group, a woman will actually lie, just straight up be like, fuck it, I'll just say he raped me. Because that's better than him actually, like, me actually liking this guy and being made fun of for it and ostracized. So I'll just say he forced himself on me, and then the group can accept me again. You go to jail. Go to jail and go die. Seriously.
You know how many white girls at colleges in the States accuse men of R word to their families, because they don't want to be seen with a that they were actually involved with a black dude, with an African American, an African American athlete that they've been pining for years, and they got wind of it, and they said, "Oh, no, he R worded me." It's happened for decades, for decades, because they don't want to shame themselves with their families. And the same thing happened in the Yale case, in the Yale Law School case. Same thing. Oh, he's not, he doesn't look good. He won't appear appealing to my girlfriends. Oh yeah, put the R word on him. That'll do it. That way I can absolve myself of all accountability. These girls are dangerous. 2026, these girls are dangerous. Dangerous individuals. And you have got to be whiter than snow to deal with them these days, because anyhow they feel a slight hint of embarrassment, they're onto you. They're definitely onto you.
Death penalty. Capital punishment for shit like this. People are like, that's so extreme. Yeah, bro, liars deserve that shit. If you ruin someone's life, you took a life, so your life should get taken. It's very simple, very just. Just saying. I don't know. I could only imagine, like, how the would I deal with somebody coming back from, like, say, my college days, if I were to get that famous, cause that many problems for this woke bullshit ideology, and then some retard from, like, 2000, I don't even know, 12, that I was in college, comes up and he fucking and I don't, dude, I've switched phones. I don't have text proof that this came over and had a good time. I don't have the photos anymore of them hanging out at the little pool park. I have nothing to defend myself. It's her word versus mine. And all a woman has to just say is that happened. How the fuck do you prove it 10 years later? You're going to go get checked medically? There's nothing. There's nothing. That's insane. There's something completely wrong with this system. And feminists, with all their bullshit espousing equality, never talk about the unequal side where women reign supreme. They never try to curtail female dominance in lawfare, which is why it's not about equality. It's about supremacy. That's a bullshit ideology, just like communism, Marxism, all the rest.
Yeah, the women won't call each other out. They won't do it. They won't do it. They will not do it. And quite simply, it is one of the great tragedies of intersectional dynamics in 2026. It really is, how women do not hold themselves to account. It is sad. It is a cult of personality. It is a cult of personality, and they just sit there and let it happen. And it's a shame, because the women in these families actually feel the pain, but they won't have they are not accountable to each other and saying, you shouldn't be doing that. You literally shouldn't be doing that. No, no. It's all about, you know, coddling and making making women feel cuddly and warm, and that's a shame. So thank you very much, Legion of Men, doing wonderful things. YouTube seats. We're gonna go further here with Chisa Zed, and he has covered this case as well, but he's taking it from a different angle here in terms of his. He's taken, and I'm just gonna have his take, but we're gonna go into into his highlight of valuetainment, and how when he was last in Florida, I believe, he had interviewed with Andrew Tate had an interview with valuetainment, and again they had tried to put charges on him then. When he was here, and I believe 2024, 2025, and it was last year or the year before. But again, yeah, listen, they've been out to get him for years. They finally stuck it on him, as he is now being he's in the process of being extradited to the UK. But I'll let my man Chisha Zed from the Coffee Pod do his thing here. Please subscribe to to my man Chisa said, doing wonderful things in YouTube streets as we move on here. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live.
About exactly that on Valuetainment. Check it out.
Opening question. Everybody's doing their thing. Nobody's paying attention to what's going on. And then all of a sudden, Andrew and Tristan Tate are on a flight on their way to Florida. They haven't tweeted anything for 24 hours. You guys concern people when you stop tweeting things, right? And then all of a sudden, tweet X, whatever you want to call it, there was no message going out. I don't know if you can say Xing, right? They were tweeting. So then all of a sudden, the news is you land in Florida. Everybody sees the video. When that happens, the great governor of Florida, which is one of the reasons why we moved here, he does a great job running the state. He was asked about you. This is what he had to say. Rob, if you can play the clip.
Send back to Romania or whatever. Well, we have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry.
Note he's being flanked by two women, so she has ball one and she has ball two. But let's hear what Governor DeSantis has to say about things.
Into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening.
Well, you know that Governor DeSantis is fully cucked. We know that he's Monsieur Simp. Again, I think he was on an election campaign, so he's definitely cucked at that time. Let's continue.
Crazy about saying this is not the type of state where you're welcome with that conduct in the air is that you would think that they aren't other real government officials who are being accused of certain type of conduct on the Epstein list, and that they don't have accusations in the air. He had to say in the air because they hadn't been found guilty, right? They were, in fact, released. I believe it wasn't the best way to handle the situation.
Okay, guys.
So he says you're not welcome. Now, President Trump was asked the same question. This was his reaction, and I'm just going to turn it over to you after this.
The federal government has jurisdiction.
Can you turn off the other one, Rob? Just close it up. Yeah, there you go. Go for it.
Tate landed in Florida today on a private jet after being released from custody in Romania. They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles.
Okay, now you can hear by the question itself, it's very leading. You can see that there's a lot of negativity in the question. There's no sort of impartiality, but so you could see that this man has a ball gag in his mouth on a regular basis. But quite simply, you knew that this is a leading question. He wanted Donald Trump to issue a negative statement and put out a statement in which, we protect all women, he save all lives, this man is a bad man, so, you've got to be on the side of the cucks. You've got to be on the side of us. Please, you got to be on the side of us and listen to Donald Trump. I'll give him credit on this one.
Administration pressured the Romanian government to release them, and if so,
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
He's back. They already did.
Yeah, I just know nothing about it. We'll check it out. We'll let you know.
Andrew.
So you got the governor says Florida is not a place where you belong or welcome to. President Trump says he doesn't know anything about it. How were you allowed to come to the States and leave Romania?
You know what's interesting? Trump is such a boss. Trump is such a boss. His answer is, he is such a gangster. Don't know. I don't know anything about it. I don't know. That's the correct answer to most things. This is some life advice to everybody at home. 99% of the time, if you're asked a question as a man, the correct answer is, I don't know. I don't know. So I like Trump's answer. As for Ron, I'm a little bit disappointed, I'll be honest. I've never said anything bad about him. I didn't know much about him. I was a fan of his. I heard that Florida was a great state. I know he did well under COVID. I knew nothing about the guy. But it turns out when he was pressured, he instantly caved to the pressure. And we have to have a long conversation about why the liberals and why Soros and why these wrap-up smears, why they use the media to do what they do, because what they try and do is isolate somebody. So they're afraid to be, so people are afraid to represent them or stand by them or stick up for due process. I don't know why Ron's answer wasn't, he has an American passport. The judicial system in Romania, which I know absolutely nothing about, decided to let him fly, and he's flown to his home country. As far as we're concerned, he's broken no laws. Instead, what he did was say, we're going to get our attorney general to try and find some laws he's broken and wreck this man who's done nothing inside of the United States ever. Isn't the whole point of democracy innocent until proven guilty? I've yet to even have a trial, let alone a conviction. I've never even been tried after 3 years.
We're going to stop it there for a second. We're going to have our Instagram people come back to us in the second hour here in Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live. We're going to the second hour in just a bit. And thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live. We're going to continue with things with the rant from Mr. Andrew Tate. We are back live here on Talk Live on IG. We're still on YouTube. Let's continue with Andrew's rant into the second hour.
Years, I've never been to trial. All those times I'm walking in and out of court, I've never had a trial. And communism, as we've understood it and tried very hard to fight against for so long, the basic premise is that you find the man and then find the crime. Is that not exactly what Ron DeSantis just promised to all of his constituents? It's not, we've seen a crime, let's find the perpetrator. It's, we found a man, let's see if we can find a crime to pin on this man. Is that the American way? Is that democracy? Is that innocent until proven guilty? Now, I'm not afraid of it because I know I've done nothing wrong. But it's quite unusual and quite
Great point right there. Great point. How could you push back against that?
scary for me to land as an American citizen, expecting a hero's welcome after dealing with a foreign and complicated judicial process, and being told that now the American state is going to be set on me, trying its very best to lock me up here when I've done nothing wrong ever. This is communism in and of itself. I may as well fly back to Romania. This is incredible that I landed and the governor of Florida is like, don't worry, I told my attorney general to try and find things this man's done. Where did that even come from? So I'm very, very disappointed in Ron. I think he did it because he caved under media pressure. And if he wants some media training, he can hit me up. There's no problem. If he wants training, Ron, there's a reason you lost the presidential election. There's a reason you got wrecked. If you want some training, come to me and I'll tell you. Your correct answer was, we have no information of crimes he's committed inside the United States. He has an American passport. We were not aware of his arrival, but it's not really our concern. He's an American citizen returning to his home country. If he breaks the law within Florida, he will be held accountable as well as any other person would be. And until that point, that's it. But
yeah, but and again, Andrew Tate is right here. You cannot charge a man. You cannot have a man guilty until proven innocent. It's innocent until proven guilty, and that's one thing that that failed to come to mind with Governor DeSantis at that time when Andrew Tate came to the U.S. the first time, was in Florida the first time. But again, they found charges for which Andrew Tate is to stand that Andrew Tate is standing accused of, for which he is having to defend in due course in the UK, and so they're going to extradite him there. But again, listen, it's we have already talked about what they want to stick to Andrew. It's the worst of worst crimes for a man, either R word or intimate trafficking or child porn. So again, it's they really want to besmirch his reputation, so they have those charges against Andrew. But again, you can see what they're trying to do to him. Let's continue.
instead, he just completely caved and folded. You know what's really interesting? The liberals.
I just want to say something. This is typically, I believe, the part where people ask questions like, why doesn't Andrew Tate just shut up? Right? They look at him and think to themselves, and I've even thought this many times. I've thought, well, it could be one of two things. Number one, he's just somebody who'd rather be locked up in jail or dead than keep silent. Shisha, why do you say that? Well, he's said plainly that he believes people are out to kill him. People want him locked up. And so you would think somebody in that position, if they did not want to happen, or at the least wanted to minimize the chances of that happening, then what would they do? They would stop speaking. But
well, it's clear that they want who wants Andrew Tate locked up. It is the gynocracy and friends of the gynocracy. It is feminists, powerful feminists everywhere, and friends of feminists everywhere. Quite simply, the Cucks and Simps out there in the world. They are the ones who want Andrew Tate locked up. They don't want him to be an influence on male empowerment and the red pill and male enhancement. They don't want him in any way, shape, or form doing such things. And that's the reason for the smear campaigns. That's the reason for the propaganda through adolescents. That's the reason for school programs such as um, teaching men to be better cucks and simps. That's what they want men to be, and so and in so doing, lower testosterone. So this female power brokers within the gynocracy, within feministas ever want this man locked up. That's who want this man locked up. Not necessarily power brokers of all shapes and colors, but again, gynocracy, feministas, and friends of said things who wear ball gags in their mouth. Let's continue.
What they wouldn't do is start attacking people who have power to maybe make their situations difficult, right? I wouldn't say that the governor doesn't have any power whatsoever. I believe that let's talk to Ms. Coffee real quick. Ms. Coffee, I am aware that DeSantis doesn't have any power to decide whether the Tates get extradited to the UK. However, how difficult can they make things for him? I want the honest answer here. I don't think it's a coincidence that they got picked up in Miami, and you have Tate here saying that's why you lost the elections, blah, 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 Trump's better, all that. Someone can look at this and say, why doesn't Andrew Tate just stop talking, right?
Honestly, yes, they can make things harder, but mostly around the edges, not by directly deciding extradition. If you mean DeSantis' Florida state officials, they cannot decide whether the Tates get extradited to the UK.
Of course.
International extradition is handled federally. A judge decides whether the person is legally extraditable. And if certified, the final surrender decision goes to the U.S. Secretary of State. Department of Justice E1. But Florida officials can make life harder in a few ways. They can open or publicize state investigations. They can look for state hooks, meaning possible Florida crimes or jurisdiction. That is what DeSantis was talking about in the clip you showed, when he said Florida's Attorney General was looking at what state jurisdiction they may have. They can also create a hostile public environment. A governor saying, "You're not welcome here," does not convict you, but it can send a message to law enforcement, prosecutors, media, and the public that this person is politically toxic.
Right.
They can make bail, public perception, local investigations, and reputation battles harder. But they cannot just say, send him to the UK. That is not their lane.
Got it. Secondly, the last thing I thought was, hey.
And remember, there's an extradition treaty between the United States and the UK. So if anybody's in the, if the UK government want a UK citizen, well, Andrew Tate is dual citizenship. He's both UK and US dual citizen, which is, I think, the best of both worlds, quite simply. But if they do have an extradition treaty where, if a UK citizen is have charges within their criminal courts, then they can be extradited from the U.S. to the UK. There is that extradition treaty handled federally. Let's continue.
Maybe to Andrew Tate, he thinks, if I go quiet, then now would be the perfect time for them to do something like this, arrest me, and me not have a voice to tell my side of the story and frame things from my vantage point. Could be a source of protection and insurance as well.
Soros, all these NGOs, the media, they understand something intrinsically that conservatives do not understand. In the conservative world, an accusation,
I mean, he's mentioned some heavy hitters over here,
is the same as a conviction, which is why liberals are so effective. The liberals will accuse a conservative of something. They'll wrap up smear them. Hello, Ron. Nancy Pelosi explained the wrap-up smear. She explained it herself. You can find the clip of her explaining. You get the media to repeat something so many times that that person's name becomes toxic. And then what that person says isn't significant anymore because of the accusations attributed to their name. Nancy Pelosi described how they do this to people.
Is this a clip?
Let's play it.
Go for it, Brian.
Hospitals and the rest of it. So they don't want them to see that contrast. So they focus on something else. And it's a diversionary tactic. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now,
anyways, guys, of course, Krishna.
Excellent wording there by Nancy Pelosi. That's exactly what's if and they saying that if Andrew Tate's in the States, then they really want to smear him with any sort of R accusation or child porn accusation or intimate trafficking accusation whatsoever. They want to make sure that Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate leave with bad names. That's exactly that's the U.S. job. That's the U.S. end of the job. The U.K. end of the job is to criminally charge him and make sure that he stays in Belmarsh Prison. Belmarsh Prison, Southeast London. Okay, but if you hear from the start of the show, you know. So yeah, that's the American part of things. The American segment of things is make Andrew look bad, and if they can find a crime, find a crime. But in the UK, those are where the charges are. They and so he's that's where he's heading back to have these charges now again. If they do have credible evidence, so be it. But again, um, you know, again, we've seen this film before through Diddy, where they did not like his lifestyle, so they wanted to make sure they get him, make sure they get Diddy, but they made sure they got him through the unstoppable N Act, NR Act, and that is the as David Chappelle would so eloquently have said, and that is the Mann Act, and where you cannot take women of the night or men of the night over state lines for your pleasure. Let's continue.
What you think? I think he goes even harder on DeSantis. Hold on.
Fell for it. Instead of standing there and they demonize you in the media.
it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.
I think this needs to be seen.
Earth to Ron. Earth to Ron. Like, this is what they do. They demonize you in the media to the point where nobody will stand by you and your ideas are ignored because of what you're accused of. This is exactly what they did to me. Ron fell for it. Instead of standing there and saying, we have no evidence of crimes, he has an American passport, it's innocent until proven guilty, I don't understand the Romanian system. What he did was collapse instantly and completely. And liberals know this. If you accuse a conservative of something on the other side, the conservatives cannibalize. An accusation is as bad as a conviction in the conservative circles. If you accuse a liberal of something, do you think the liberals care? Let me change it. If a liberal is convicted, if a liberal held a gun to a pregnant woman, if a liberal is a career criminal, they don't care. But our side, if you're accused of something, you're instantly cannibalized. Talk about the weakness in the conservative circle. We wonder why we've been getting our asses kicked by people who don't know what gender they are for years. Because all they have to do is point and lie. Put it in the news enough times, and they will take out our strongest soldiers. I was one of the strongest soldiers advocating for conservatism and helping men, especially young men, find their masculinity once again. So,
you guys can check out the rest of this video if you would like to. You can't deny Andrew Tate's ability to command a room. But beyond that, I think also just his oral skills, there's a reason, right? People don't like giving credit to people who amass a certain number of attention and people to give them an ear and listen. And I think the bigger question there shouldn't be, is Andrew Tate always right? But why were men attracted to or are still attracted to Andrew Tate, or the aspect of him that's very motivational, empowering for men? What is it that...
Okay, so the reason why is because as Chisa Zed said from the Coffee Pod, Andrew Tate's a very, very persuasive individual, and he's a very erudite individual. He's very smart. His father was a champion chess player. This man is both smart, he's charming, he's cunning. At any debate he's in with in the room with a woman, he usually wins it. He's very persuasive. And with that, those within the gynocracy do not want to see this man out in public because he's way too influential. He's way too influential, especially for young men. They don't want a role model like him who lives his life on his own terms, who is very endearing to ladies, and who can charm the pants off them, and who has a message that men need to hear. They don't want that. They don't want an intelligent man like Tristan, like Andrew, but especially Andrew out there speaking these truths. And because in any debate that Andrew's been in, guaranteed, the cuck, the simp, or the lady on the other side usually lost, or they have been persuaded to his side of things, because that's the sort of influence Andrew Tate has. That's what they don't want to see. They don't want to see a man who lives life on his own, takes life by the balls, and empowers men to be themselves and be. They're either by different genders, or they have a ball gang and they sit into a corner, or they're literal simps. Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate cuts through all of that, and they don't want that man being so influential. So they're trying to silence him, and that's what they're doing with all of these reprehensible charges. If they are true and they could prove it, so be it. But the same thing happened to Diddy. It's the same thing that's happening to Andrew Tate. Let's continue. So I'm going to leave it there with Chisha Zed. Thank you very much, Chisha Zed. So we'll see what happens with going back to full camera here. We'll see what happens with Andrew Tate going forward, and we'll see indeed how he fares out. But you know what they want to do. They want to put him under the jail. They don't want they want to, especially during this influential time in his life when he's in his mid to late 30s, and he's at his peak. They want to silence him for the next 15, 20, 30, if not for life, so that he doesn't get out. So when he's so his influence is gone, and young people don't know who he is. They're trying to really besmirch his reputation on all fronts, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame. But again, we knew that this was that this was coming. We saw the propaganda. We saw the writing on the wall, and the writing on the wall said they want this guy silenced. They can't have men out there running the streets because they're too free thinking, they're too intelligent, they're too knowledgeable about what is happening in the powers that be, and the powers that be are deathly afraid, especially those with gynocratic O's. All right, we're just gonna get back to things on Talk Talk Live, moving back towards how women grow, and the and men don't know the touch of a woman, ladies and gentlemen, in modern day. So we're going back to our YouTube here, and we're going to continue and finalize things with MLD here, and how things are, and how and the tipping point. Now that just to recall how things we finished things last time, you know, the fat acceptance slash body positivity movement is in full swing. Women are getting larger and larger and larger by years, especially in the United States, where women are at their largest in the Western world of the OECD countries. There's no one as larger as American women, and they are dominating the market. And they want Chaz Tyrone's and high value men as well, as seen by Lizzo, quite simply. And so they want. So men have been left. Well, the women that they do want, who have a 0.7 shoulder to hip ratio, they are becoming extinct. They're becoming protected species, quite simply, and they are raising the price on being with them to astronomical levels. So much so that a whole segment of the population is now being eliminated from the category. And also, these ladies of a certain size, well, they want to keep up with the Jones. They want to be like their 0.7, zero 0.7 shoulder to hip ratio cisterns. So therefore, um, they are going to be asking for the same men. So therefore, a whole segment of men who used to be able to obtain these women aren't getting them anymore. So again, that is where we're getting this epidemic of a third of men not being laid in a year, 25% of men being virgins. But so they know that rebellion may be coming, and it's through men like Andrew Tate that this is being brought forward. So they want to silence him, but they have a new way. They have a new way of bringing bringing the pendulum back to the center, and that is through this method. So I'll let MLD take it from here.
Planned for, or did they?
We'll see.
2021, a weekly injection arrives. Enter GLP-1s. Okay? GLP-1s are the weight loss shots: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound. And in 2021, when you saw that dip, Myron, Wegovy got FDA approval to be used not only for diabetes but for weight loss, because initially it was just a diabetes drug, right? A weekly injection that mimics the natural gut hormone glucagon-like peptide 1. That's what GLP-1 stands for. Glucagon-like peptide 1. It targets the glucagon receptor in your body, in your brain. It tells your brain you're full and slows your stomach's emptying, so your appetite simply shuts off, right? Interesting, eh? Originally a diabetes drug, but FDA approved for weight loss in 2021. So the average result was about 15 to 20% body weight loss. No willpower required.
So let's go back to that last statement made there by MLD. And there we go. Hold on. I'll let it continue
FDA
one more
approved
time.
for weight and slows your stomach's emptying, so your appetite simply shuts off, right? Interesting, eh?
So, sorry, we just went back. There we go. There we go. Right. So GLPs, it is the answer to somewhat redress the balance, as they say. So women getting on these GLPs, these weight loss shots, again, because this suits women to a T, because women don't have to work so hard in the gym. They don't have to work so hard in their diet. They can literally take a shot, and if stuck to, they start feeling full and they start losing weight. But again, with GLPs, you still need to go to the gym in order to adjust to this new lifestyle, because once you're off the GLPs, the weight goes right back on. So you need to have a plan in terms of, of your diet, and also in terms of getting into the gym to make sure this weight stays off. See what happened to Kelly Osbourne and how her face, well, literally sunk into itself when she was on these weight loss shots. But this was the answer women were waiting for, and quite simply, an answer that men were looking for, because now people were actually listening to them and saying, listen, we don't like these ladies being this 250, 300, 400 pounds, being over 25%, over 25 BMI, 27, 29 BMI, into the 250 to 300 pound range. We don't want that anymore. Can we please redress the balance? And so in came GLPs, which was a godsend to ladies, because they didn't have to work out to any great extent, and you could drop 15 to 20 pounds of weight, and men can actually get back in the dating market. Supposedly, but let's see what happens going forward.
Required. And the women quietly got in line. 19 million women are currently on GLP-1s right now, and that's above market data. There's also a gray market and black market.
Gotcha. This is just how they get it legitimately. Gotcha.
Exactly.
I could say that's double. On the gray and black markets, I could say that can easily be 30 to 40 million women on GLPs, which is a substantial minority of women who are now getting in line and getting these GLPs. Chances are, if you have any female friends out there, one of them has to be on a GLP right now, even in Canada.
This does not account for people getting it, through the dark market.
Websites, you can buy it with Bitcoin. You can, there's plenty of sites,
It's
Chinese
just
sites,
legal.
right? Women take them at 15%. That is almost double the male rate of 9%. And the usage nearly quadrupled in 2 years, from 3% to 11%, right? Even Lizzo tried the shot, and then she, quote, dieted her BMI down 10.5 points.
In other words, Lizzo has been taking a shot all the time. All the shots that God sends, to where she's reduced weight, she's been in the gym, she's done what she's required to do in terms of getting the weight down, but she is still taking the shot to this day. There's no doubt about it. But her appetite is gargantuan. So there's only so much that these GLPs can do, because once she's off the GLPs, believe me, watch that weight go up, because she's still doing those mukbang videos. Let's continue.
I know. I was laughing earlier because you guys brought up Lizzo, and you're like, you guys are like right ahead of the presentation. I love it.
Insane.
Okay. Even one of the biggest faces of the fat acceptance movement proved she didn't believe in it herself, despite making millions from promoting it. Because let's be honest, nobody really wants to be fat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
How body positivity lied to women, adjusted scale. Okay. So taking a look there where you notice that drop off, Myron, that is when Wegovy was approved in 2021. And we saw the first ever drop off in obesity. If you look at as long as back to the 1980s. Now, this is a Gallup self-reported number there, the dashed line, but the solid red line, that is actually measured, okay? And then the blue line on the right just shows how many people, percentage-wise, are on GLP-1s. Look at that number. Look at that fucking number, okay? Now, look at this.
So, as stated there in the chart, but the level of obesity, the amount of people, the amount of women who were obese started dipping with the introduction of Wegovy, with the introduction of Ozempic, with the introduction of all these GLPs, and soon to come retatrutide. All these GLPs are on the market, and now women are starting to lose weight because listen, it's the best of both worlds. Weight loss with little to no effort, even though there has to be a bit of effort because they have to get into the gym and at least get some moving around a bit, or else the weight will come back. But women are starting to get in line, and so as seen, the amount of obese women on average in the U.S. 41% is now dipping, and all the power to them, because all women wanted to be skinny, but it's body positivity told them a big old fat old lie, and men have had to accept it because we have had to choose big old fat old women. To be fair, let's continue.
Many people, percentage-wise, are on GLP-1s. Look at that number. Look at that fucking number, okay? Now look at this. Body positivity didn't lose the argument. Obesity is falling for the first time in the entire data series. Nobody ever truly believed in the movement. The women promoting it, the women following it. For 20 years, they told women the scale was the enemy, and then a weekly shot showed up, and 19 million women revealed that what they actually believed the whole time.
Yeah. They know deep down being fat as a female is unacceptable.
They know it. And despite...
they just don't want to put in the work for it.
This is my favorite part. Despite reports of Ozempic making some people going blind, women are still lining up to get this shot.
Absolutely. These ladies know that the magic pill has arrived, and they are lining up for it. They are lining up for Ozempic, for Wegovy, for tirzepatide, for soon-to-come retatrutide. These ladies could not wait that they can get a magic shot that automatically gives them a head start in terms of losing weight. It's an absolute godsend, and believe me, those numbers, 19 million in the United States, I would say 30, 40 million in the United States, I would say I would say at least 2 to 3 to 4 million, if not 10 million in Canada, in terms of women are using GLPs at the moment, because no one wants to be fat, and if they can get an easier way to get their weight down, they're gonna take it. Any woman would take it. Let's continue.
So they're like, I might lose my sight, but I also might lose 30 pounds.
Yeah. And I don't want to go to the gym.
It's worth the trade-off.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll just fucking feel my way through life,
Again, women have to still change their lifestyles in order for things to stick, but this gives them a head start. So, you know what I mean? Any little bit helps, and this definitely helps.
I'll risk blindness to not go to the gym.
And again, Big Pharma, if you want to talk about who's running it, is getting paid again. U.S. users, 10 million in 2025, 25 to 30 million projected by 2030. Okay. Global users, 13 million to 52 million. Global market, 53 to 78 billion dollars today. That's more than the fat people fucking clothing market. 130 to 200 billion by 2030. And that's in.
And listen, I saw a video by Will Tennyson recently, and he was in I believe it's Korea, and Japan. I think it was Japan. He was actually, and they're selling doctors out there, nutritionists, and other sort of and many other doctors are actually selling the likes of Ozempic, the likes of Wegovy, the likes of tirzepatide, the likes of retatrutide to women who are actually of average size, because they see that they are adding a little bit of fat, they want to lose it. They want it out of there. So any help that they can get, even if they're at a 15 to under 25 under 25 BMI, they want to reduce it. They want it out of there. And because women in the Far East are absolutely adamant they cannot be fat. They cannot be fat. It's a slight against them. It's a slight against their family. So the they're using them like hotcakes out there in on the black market and also regularly. And you can easily pick one up by walking into any doctor. You don't even need a citizenship card. You can literally walk if you have the money. You can walk into any any doctor who sells Tide. Get yourself a health check and get a prescription for it. And easily injectable, and they'll even inject it for you. That's to the extent that these GLPs are moving out there. They're moving fast. They're moving quickly, and I would say most women around the world, if they can afford it, will be using GLPs well into the future. This is the magic drug that women have been waiting for. Let's continue.
About 4 years. So if you're not buying Eli Lilly stock, not financial advice, but they're coming out with a GLP-3 called retatrutide. They have the patent on that. That is an even stronger weight loss drug. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and safer.
Way safer. Morgan says 200 billion, the number's there. And oral GLPs just launched. I know you guys don't use Snapchat because you have real life, but this is being pushed all over Snapchat.
Really? Well,
Yes.
a lot of young people use it.
GLP-1 pills are being pushed all over Snapchat.
Okay.
All over. Okay. No needles equals mass adoption because a lot of people are afraid of needles. A lot of people don't have the strength to jab themselves, right? So
yeah, once pills, GLP pills hit the market, it's over. It is over. It is over. Everybody will be taking those pills like they're hotcakes. That I see this outpacing. I see this potentially surpassing headache medication within the next 10 years. It is that serious, especially in the United States, and especially where obesity is a problem, very problematic. So basically in Western Europe, and but definitely in the United States, I see GLPs being the #1 drug in the United States outside of aspirin, and throughout the world. Let's continue.
Employer insurance also coverage is 44% in 2024. It's projected to be 65% by 2027 because the insurance companies know there's so many fat people that we're going to make some money off of them losing weight. Corporations told women to get fat and they listen. Now they're being told to get skinny and they're listening again. Okay. It's a little life lesson there. This will take time. There's no guarantees that this will work. However, we're still dealing with a lot of fat women in the USA dating market, and this is the main problem for men. There are too many fat women in the dating market, okay?
Yeah, it's literally eliminating a whole category of men because they did not want these women in the first place. 20 years ago, when body positivity came on board, and they they allowed for the largesse of women to any certain extent, and telling women that you can be healthy at any size, which is preposterous. Men weren't on board with this, but they still had to accept it. So again, a lot of men were being left out of the dating market because they didn't accept the women. #1 and #2, these bigger boned ladies still wanted the Chad Tyrone high value men like their 0.7 shoulder to waist ratio, waist to hip ratio. Sorry, it's a waist to hip ratio. Waist to hip ratio of their smaller counterparts. So they still wanted to be on boards as square as they be, as big as they are, and that'll still go unabated. So there's still a good segment of said society that will be priced out of the market when it comes to dating, marriage, and the intimacy markets.
And this should also be a little bit eye-opening for you guys at home because it just shows you that what women say and what women do are usually two different
things.
Completely different.
Right? Because if you truly believed in the fat acceptance movement, this wouldn't be a multi-$100 billion market that only started 5 years ago. And the trend and the projections for these GLP-1s, 2s, and 3s, it is only going up. It is only going up. Okay, so let's talk about how this is affecting.
Well, you see what the likes of Lilly, all these drug companies getting on board GLPs because that is the new wonder drug that will be a multi-billion dollar industry coming soon. Absolutely. Everybody's jumping on board everywhere around the world, and these big drug companies want to corner it.
Men, right? Again, obese women, 41% of the U.S. women, including 12.1% with severe obesity. Okay, overweight women is in second place, 27.5. Normal weight, 20 is about 20-30%, depending on your estimates, and then underweight 1 to 2%. Honestly, a normal weight that's a very generous number. It's probably somewhere more around 24%. Okay, and combined overweight and obese women, 69%. So roughly 7 in 10 American women, again, are either overweight or obese. Normal women is below, in the minority, about 3 in 10. Okay, so 3 out of 10 are already very bad odds, right? But it gets worse, as we previously mentioned. Of the 30% of women that are normal weight, you subtract for age, only 1 in 4 are 18 to 35. Yep. Relationship status, 45 to 55% are partnered. And then no children, that's how 30% of the women collapses down to locked figures. 4.1 million is just 1.2% of the population that's qualifying according to my model there, right? The single female.
And we quoted this last show that only 1.2% of women are single, are female, are 18 to 35, are childless, and have a BMI under 1.2 under 25. That is stunning. That used to be, I think he was saying 50 to 60% of women used to be, well, I think it used to be 20 to 30% of women were of these numbers. Now it's just down to 1.2%. It's drastically reduced over the last 30 to 40 years, simply because of fat acceptance and the body positivity movement. But not only that, it's it also speaks to the promiscuity of women and them having their whole phases, quite simply. And we are where we are in terms of things because more and more women are single mothers, more and more women are fatter. So we are where we are in terms of that, and no man accepted those requirements. Let's continue.
1835, childless, BMI sub 25. And this last summer, I was able to work one-on-one with Alex Hormozi at the acquisition.com headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's me and Alex. He's a great guy. Taught me a lot. One of the things he taught me about, and he talks about a lot, is the supply and demand curve. All right? Mm-hmm. So, simply...
Now, again, this is basic economics, ladies and gentlemen. I have an economics degree from York University, so I'll talk you through this part.
Explained, right? Regardless of how a man looks, weighs, whatever, he still desires women with a 0.7 hip-to-waist ratio, a.k.a. non-fat women. At best, in America, there are 5.6 million women in the USA who fit the model of female, single, 18 to 35, and sub-27 BMI. That doesn't include the 0.7 hip-to-waist ratio as well.
That is literally like finding a unicorn. That is like literally finding an endangered species in the United States. Females who fit that mold are endangered species. Literal endangered species. There's no doubt about that. There are more overweight and obese. You're liable to find an overweight and obese woman with kids than you are a woman who is fit, single, and childless, which is stunning. Which is stunning. And hoflation is real. But we have a change on that in just a bit. Let's go.
So 1 in 5 married men admit to having cheated on their spouse. So when we factor in the data next, which is you're going to get about 20 million men when you include single men and men who are cheating on their wives or girlfriends, okay? You got 20 million men, guys, pursuing 5.6 million women.
Shit.
Okay?
Yeah, competition is fierce, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the numbers. I'll let MLD continue.
Eligible female candidates.
Right here is a very simple demonstration of what's exactly happening. You got 20 million on the left, and you got 5.6 million on the right. And now nearly 4 men for every 1 woman. Before looks, money, game, any of that comes into play. These are your starting odds. Unless you want to settle down with a big fat bitch.
Yeah.
If you want to settle down with a fat bitch, you can just shut off this episode and go, you'll be fine. You can go.
And this is even worse for African American men or men from the African diaspora, be it in the UK or be it in Canada. It is. I think the odds are slightly better. I would say 1 in 3 rather than 1 in 4. Well, I would say 1 in 4. I would say. For black men in the States, it's probably 1 in 7 because the obesity rates. 1 in 5, 1 in. Let's go 1 in 5. For every 5 men, there's a 1 woman, or it can go to 6, 5 to 6 men. There is 1 woman because over half of women, African American women in the United States, are obese. 55%. It is stunning. And that's why I say GLPs are so very important. It actually gives a chance for women of any shade, of any color, to actually reduce weight and actually give men at odds, those African Americans who are 54% are single and childless, 61% in the middle class. Listen, you need this. Absolutely. And for men, 4 men for 1 woman. The odds are better in Canada. The odds are better in England, but they're getting worse. And luckily, the GLP remedy is finally here. Let's continue.
Walk outside, you'll find a fat girl today.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So let's continue here. This is the supply and demand in the USA dating market. And Fresh, earlier you talked about the price, right? Well, if you take a look there, remember earlier when I said there's about 15 million men that are sexless?
Yes.
Yeah.
14.4 million right there are priced out.
Yep.
Just based on this simple economic model applied to dating. Priced out.
It's pay to play.
So,
yeah.
So like they don't qualify financially for the women.
Let's see the next slide.
Well, before we get there, let me explain the slide quickly. So, as stated here, 5.6 million men qualify for women. 5.6% of men, because again, it's 5.6 compared to 20 million men to 5.6% of women who are single, childless, 18 to 35, and under 25% BMI. So guess what? There's not enough supply for the demand. The demand is 20% of men, and as you can see, a whole segment of men are priced out of the market, are literally priced out of the market. So if you're not orbiting around Chad Tyrone's or high value men's orbits, you're out of here. And we've been talking about this ad litem here in Talk Live for since our inception. There is no way most of these men can meet the demands of all these women. Now, again, the other problem is that even if there are 5.6 men qualifying for women who meet the ultimate dating requirements of men, there are still more women who are overweight and obese who still want a shot at these guys. Still want this 5.6 million men who qualified. Those other women still want those men. So there is an inundation of men who meet the demand, who have women on the side, who literally have a woman who's overweight and potentially a woman who's obese, and they could be double or triplicate. So you can have 3 or 4 or 5 women on rotation if you're a man who can meet the supply of women. So you have the one, or you can have 3 women who meet the demand, or you can have 4 or 5. Listen, if you are on point, if you have money, muscle, game, and frame, believe me, you can meet the supply of any woman. And so for all these men, there's is there any wonder that there's a huge rotation of women that they can go through? And you have the likes of a Nick Cannon who has 11 babies. You have the likes of an Elon Musk who have 11 babies himself with all these different mothers, because all women are looking for the same guy. They're all looking for the same guy. And they're willing to be side chicks to that man rather than a wife to an average man. Because, well, they all want to keep up with the Joneses. Let's continue.
About the price, right? Well, if you take a look there, remember earlier when I said there's about 15 million men that are sexless?
Yes.
Yeah.
14.4 million right there are priced out.
Yep.
Just based on this simple economic model applied to dating. Priced out.
It's pay to play.
So,
yeah.
So like they don't qualify financially for the women.
Let's see the next.
And no wonder sim culture is on the rise because again, it's the top ladies only want are there for the highest bidders. So sim culture will never die until there is a balance. And that balance comes through GLPs. So let's go to the next slide.
This is why dating got expensive. The amount of fit women is at an all-time low in the United States right now. The men chasing pretty much hasn't changed.
Nope.
We really, in the
Stayed
80s,
static.
90s, 70s, we all like the same type of woman.
Yep.
So the price
is up.
You pay more. Not actually pay more, but also you do.
So this is what these last two parts are all about. This one slide. The amount of fit women are down. The amount chasing these women have stayed static. So therefore, the price of these fitter women, they're going to go to the highest bidders, so they've gone up. But not only that, you find women on social media, on the Instagrams, on the TikToks, on the Snapchats, on all these different platforms. They see what these fit women get, and they want the same results. So guess what? They're trying to keep their prices high as well. So that eliminates a whole segment of the dating market. You cannot be missing any of these essentials if you're entering the dating market as a man. You need to have some sort. You need to be majoring in something, either muscle, either game, either frame, or money. But definitely money and muscle. You need to have both. You cannot afford to be there. I was just in the gym earlier on today, and believe me, it is packed with men. And not only that, it's going into the night. Before, men used to stop going to the gym around 9, 10 o'clock. Then you really see it peter out. Now it's going into 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and it's literally going overtime. Men realize what it takes, and they, being prexologists themselves, they are trying to measure up to these women of all genders, of all races, of all sizes, because all of their costs are going up because nobody wants to be left behind. Nobody wants to be seen as being unfit and unworthy of men. So everybody's got their costs up, but so it's sort of like the housing market in Canada, especially in Toronto during the noughties and the teens. There was no limiting it, and so a whole segment of families of families, period, of men, of women, all being priced out of the housing market, especially in the Toronto area. It's the same thing is happening here, and that's why GLPs are now starting to be introduced into the market, because you need to redress this balance, or else you're going to get a lot of upset men, and you don't want that in any free society, because they'll either move on or they'll rebel. And you don't want a rebelling society, as you saw from January 6th. Let's continue.
Because you
need to increase your sexual market value significantly to have a fighting chance, basically.
Not even that. That's just to get a look. That's just to get a glance.
Yeah.
That's
to just play the game.
To be on the radar.
Yeah, to even play the game.
Because you hear all the girls, they say, "Oh, there's no good men. There's no good. There's no."
Everyone's invisible to them anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, because
unless there are no good Chaz and Tyrone. It's not as if there's no good men. There are no good men that all women find attractive that they want on their arm. Met that perfectly clear. Let's continue.
I was in the gym. They'll fuck the fit guys, but they won't wife up the guys that are fit. They'll find a guy that has money or status to
Yep.
do it.
Yep. Dual mating strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at this, musical chairs, you're looking at a 4-to-1 odds. Okay. And that's with the 5.6 million gracious model. The real qualifying model is the 4.1 million, because if we include no fat girls, you're looking at 4.1. But graciously, 5.6. We let some of the chubby girls in, right? you're looking at 4-1 odds.
So yeah, that includes, now he's including fat and, well, he's including those under the BMI and overweight women, just with a little more fluff on them. So you're talking about girls from 120, 130 pounds all the way to like 170, 160, 170 pounds. Those, you going above that, then you're entering into the entering into the obese zone. So he's including overweight and fit women in this category, and there's only 5.6 of them, and they all have the same price. They all have the same price because they're all copying off each other's copybook on Instagram and on TikTok. So you have social media accelerating fat body positivity and fat acceptance, combining to make this perilous graph. Let's continue.
This is a modern crisis for men because there's simply not enough women to meet the demand, okay? This is what most men blame the dating crisis on in the United States. They say it's hoflation, right? The concept that men have to work 20 times harder than their grandfathers did for women 20 worse than their grandmothers were. Yep. But this is not the real source of the problem. And here on Fresh and Fit, we're going to debut a new term that I'd like to call. All right. This is the truth of the new term that I've coined, and that is we are dealing with fatflation.
Yo.
I'm dead. Let him explain.
We are dealing with fatflation. So go ahead and write fatflation in the chat right now, guys, because this is our World War II. This is our Great Depression. This is the fight of our life. So we are fighting fat women, okay? Fatflation is the problem, guys. Fatflation is terrible. And it's the #1 reason your dating life sucks in the United States of America.
Yep.
Okay? So.
And it's getting worse throughout the Western world. Let's continue. And some Polynesian society as well, but they've always had that. Well, they've had that trouble. But anyways, definitely the Western society. Let's go.
Fatflation is defined quickly. If you're using a 1 to 10 scale, right, to rank female attractiveness, it's now inflated due to the large amount of obese and overweight women in the dating market. Furthermore, if the average woman in the United States is now obese, that puts her right in the middle as a 5. That's your average woman.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, you're obese. Okay, so you're a 5. So therefore, that makes a woman who's overweight a 6.
Yeah.
And
fucks up the entire,
the regular weight woman is now a 7.
Stunning. That is literally stunning how obese women are now average. Because we are so desperate for the good that obese women are now average. Overweight women who are in this 160 to let's call it 160 to 180, 90 range are now 6s. They are cute. And regular women are now adjustable 6s, as using Kevin Samuel's scale. So now they're 7. So they can be cute, they can be a 6, or they can dial it up to an 8 if necessary. Obesity and overweight women have totally wrecked the dating market and the dating scale. They've actually put, they put a butt cheek on the scale, they put a thumb on the scale, they put, a fat titty on the scale. They literally have, they have discombobulated the scale now where obese women are now average 5. They used to be sub 5s. You have to be extremely obese, like morbidly obese, to be a sub 5 these days. Obese women, they can be a 5. They can easily be a 5. Overweight women now, they could be a 6. I would say as well, certain obese women, if they actually look good, they can attract a man, they can be 6s as well. Yeah, they could be 6s as well. Overweight women, 6, maybe 7, and they could be tipped up depending on who's attracted to you. I'd say on a black scale, I'd say an obese woman is now literally a 6. If this is a black scale, this is more or less a white Asian Latino scale. Well, to a certain extent, Latino scale, and Middle Eastern scale, and Indian scale. Okay, that's what this is. This is you have to take Latinos and take African Americans out of the scale and African diaspora out of the scale. They would have to dial it up for them. Obese women are now sixes. Women who's overweight are now adjustable sixes. And if you're average, you become an 8. You literally become an 8. Bad attitudes and all. Lack of cuteness and all. If you are of average weight, you become an 8. Which is stunning. Literally stunning. This is unheralded, and I believe this has ushered in the advent of GLPs because, you don't want a rebellious male public. I kid you not, and you don't want a male public that is literally taking off and going overseas, which we'll deal with in a bit, and finding women over there who have redressed the balance, if you know what I mean. Let's continue.
And nobody changed. The bar just got lower. Okay?
There it is.
So that's it charted out right there. So look at the normal baseline in the 1980s. The average BMI in the 1980s was 23.5. Average body. Now, if you look at below, 5 is the obese woman, BMI, right? The overweight is the 6, and the normal weight is a 7. If she's severely obese, she's a 4.
Yeah.
When before it would be severely obese is a 1, obese is a 2, overweight is 3, obese, overweight, and then regular weight was right in the middle at 5. It was normal.
Yeah, overweight would have been a 5. In the black community, overweight would have been a 5. Obese would have been a 4 to 3. Morbidly obese, 1 to 2. He's right. He's absolutely right. If adjusted, now we have to accept obese at the 5. We have to accept in African American studies, in African American and African diaspora communities, the obese becomes a 6. The overweight becomes a 6.5, an adjustable 6. A normal weight becomes an 8. And that is without facial features. That is without. You are literally in the African diaspora, FBA community. You're an 8. If you are of average looks and of normal weight under 25 BMI. Stunning. Literally stunning. But this needs to be heard.
Now we're in clown world. Okay? Again, if you took a look at this information right here, in the 1960s, the average weight of American woman was 140 pounds. Now it's 171.8. There's a 31-pound difference.
And in the span of how many years was that?
In the span,
go back if you can.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if I could go back here.
If it's too much of a pain, no worries.
I think I got it. Okay.
So 1960. Okay.
Yep.
1960 average weight was 140?
Yep.
And now it's today.
So 46 years later.
Okay.
Stunning. Wow. 140 pounds in 1960s. Average weight. These women were under 20. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. 1960s. The end of no, they're still the baby boomers. They were still on the rise then. Early baby boomers. They're 140 pounds. Now, in the age of Gen X to Gen Z, they're 171 pounds. That's good.
Holy crap. Now it's you said 171?
It's right there. 171, 172 basically.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah, rounded up on these bitches.
Insane.
So the average is overweight. That's the average. The average is overweight. That's an average weight of the average is overweight. That's the average. And you're seeing it on the streets every day. Most women are overweight. Most of them are overweight. I would say, as he said, 70% of women are either overweight or obese. And that is for all races, all cultures, all peoples. They're all overweight. Thanks, fat acceptance. Thanks, body positivity.
All right, let's continue. So the real problem is how men are trying to tackle this problem. This is where the problem of the men are not going the right way to solve it. Okay? Because of the low supply of attractive women, men are now trying to compete by raising the price they pay for women. This is what Fresh was alluding to, right?
Sim culture.
Coffee dates are now frowned upon by women because they're getting spoiled by men overpaying just to get a shot at a date at her, aka
Yep,
simping.
sim culture. Here we are.
Simping is the real root cause of all this because men are continuously paying the high price. The only reason some woman will ask you for $200, $300, $500
for the
to
third
have sex
hour
with her
here
is
we're
because
gonna
she
get
probably
this
had
all
4
in
guys
because
already
again,
that
I
did
won't be
that,
back
or
until
her girlfriends are doing
Friday,
it.
so we're gonna get this all
You know?
in here on
Can I answer that real
IG.
quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So typically, right, if you're dating
We're
strategy
back in
works
just a bit
with either
on
men or
IG.
women, you're gonna do it over and over again because it works, right? So I used to wonder, okay, I'm out here dating. I'm still in the dating market. Why is it every girl is trying to position herself to make money instantly or within that time frame of meeting somebody? Instantly.
Right.
And it's because prior to meeting you or somebody else.
Welcome back to Talk Live here on IG. We are just wrapping up with our third hour here, and we're not going to go further than that. Probably in the next, we'll see, about next 20 minutes. We're going to be finishing up, so we're going to continue here on Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me, and we're still here on YouTube.
She's been given this multiple times. So far as like, why did they date you for free when they're paying me just to be around?
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like, to keep it real with you, I get it because, bro, you're getting paid just to go on a fucking date.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you shit other than some dick.
Yeah.
Like, so why would you go with me? Unless, obviously, I'm attractive, but like, that's not gonna happen every single time.
Nope.
So,
no.
I get it, man. It's tough.
And you're witness.
And let me say this. It's no better time to be a big bone girl than 2026. No time in history is it better to be a big bone girl in 2026. And it's because of the lack of supply of smaller girls in the Western world. No time is it better to be a big girl in 2026. But because you can demand normal girl prices and be at that echelon with normal women because of the overwhelming majority of women who are overweight and obese. There's no better time to be a big girl in 2026. Man, it used to be frowned upon. If you were a big girl, you would you'd be a bachelorette for years. Now, as stated, women of said size who are obese or more, I wouldn't say morbidly obese, but obese are getting more play than Hollywood celebrities, than top athletes, than well-to-do gentlemen. They're getting way more business because men are, well, they are so in demand of intimate encounters that big girls are being treated like normal women. That is the change. That is the sea change that we see here. As stated, a 3 back in the day is now a 5. A 5 is now an adjustable 6, and a 6 is now an 8. No matter how you look, it's all about body shape these days. It's no better time to be a bigger woman than 2026. I'm saying.
Missing it, dude. We are in the pay-for-play capital of the United States of America in Miami. You know, what's like I was telling Myron last night, the fact that Klay Thompson was paying Megan Thee Stallion $300,000 a month when they were dating, she has never hit a layup in her life. Like, she has no NBA rings. She's going to be washed in like 5 years, if not already.
Bro, I remember seeing her here with Tory Lanez back in the day.
If that is true, that is stunning. If Klay Thompson's paying this girl $300,000 just to have him on her arm, have her on his arm, that is stunning. That is. Oh, Klay, are you paying to play with Megan Thee Stallion? My God, and you are a 4-time NBA champion, a certified Hall of Famer, and one of the best shooters in NBA history. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Going to strip clubs and wilding out, bro. Like I think you guys understand. Like, dating market has been cooked for a while anyway, but it's more relevant now because you can see it in real time. And it was crazy that like pay for play hasn't always been in your face, but now it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for most men, if you can't pay to play, nigga, you're out the game.
Well, and because the women who are, attractive, are literally in the fucking 1%.
Bro, walking the streets here as a hot girl, you can push 10 times minimum.
Bro.
And remember that Miami's an anomaly.
Yeah, a guy in a Ferrari.
We're lucky here a bit, but like for the rest of the U.S.,
a guy in a Ferrari, a guy in a Lambo, a guy in a fucking G-Wagon, it's in on you.
Dude,
constantly.
And when you start to apply this model, because when I was living in Japan, I was like, how are these fucking hoes making all this money on OnlyFans? And then I realized I come here, I'm like, oh, every girl's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And so you are damn near a fucking celebrity because you are not even in the 1%. You're in the top 1% if you're hot.
Well,
if you're hot, you have nice tits, nice ass, cute face, young, you're in the 0.0-something%.
I'm gonna give you
you're in the you're in the less than 1% if you have all those attributes. You can literally write your ticket. If you are a pretty girl, you can literally write your ticket anywhere you want to be with anyone you want to do, and you can literally. It's just like you won the lottery. It's like you literally won the lottery. You will never see a poor day in your life. If you're 18 to 35, if you're fit, if you're pretty, you're single and childless, you have won the lottery. There's no doubt about that. Your life is completely different from the rest of the rank and file. But even then, an average girl still has a shot. If you're a part of the 0.001%, you can name your price as to what men you want because men will be out there, right? It's pay to play. You can go to the highest bidder, absolutely. You're literally writing your ticket to affluence and comfort and wealth and status for the rest of your life.
Something that no one talks about ever online. Do you know why girls do OnlyFans? Some of them.
Their dads don't love them.
That too. But because it's a marketing tick. So for example, if I am a hot girl and no one really knows me, I don't get much leverage or attention. But if I do OnlyFans and I do content, I'm out there constantly.
I see
so
what you're saying.
guys that have money or want to simp on me, now they can find me. Here's my Cash App. Here's my email. And they get booked. They get things paid for.
I don't know if you want to tell this story, but remember that bitch that me
and that is remarkable. That is remarkable that, well, these fit girls can literally go on OnlyFans and they can write their ticket still. Even though they're selling their booty hole online for $3.99, there'll be some simp ready to take them off the market. Paying their bills, paying their rent, literally giving them a lifestyle to which they wish to be accustomed, willing to do all of that. As even if you do sell your booty hole online for $3.99, stunning but true.
You talked about. She got on TikTok. And she blew up, even though she's stupid as fuck.
Yeah,
you want to tell that story to them real quick?
Well, I got a better one.
Okay.
We had a girl on the show. She wasn't bad looking at all. She's pretty hot, but she had no type of income. She was pretty much like probably escorting, right? And trying to find out, my boys been doing TikTok live battles, right? You make a lot of money doing that. You make like between 4 to 8K, depending on how you do.
If you got following.
Go following. But she's doing it now, and it's funny because she started like zero followers, zero like obviously like community. She's now at 150K plus.
Wow.
Making 8K a day in her bedroom.
It's easy mode for them, dude.
And I'm like, bro, us as guys, we can't do that shit, bro.
Yeah, we can't. You have to add value.
But here's the worst part. Not only is she getting paid for TikTok, guys are taking her on dates, paying her to go on dates because they can see her now. So the new strip club is TikTok live, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I believe it. And guys, it's 7:45, so we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold. And guys, do me one favor before we continue.
All right, we're going to move forward a little bit into the slideshow itself because we're going to get back to it. Yeah, but it is absolutely true that a lot of these women, even if they are in they earn money through nefarious means, through TikTok, through Instagram, through YouTube, They can literally pay their way because men want to see them and are willing to have, um, what's it now? The relationships with them online. As long as you can get in contact with them, they're willing to pay and do anything just to feel appreciated, loved, and well, uh, watched, quite simply, and actually acknowledged. Let's say that. I'll say acknowledged.
No game that lead with their wallet. Okay, it's detrimental, brother. Simply put, simps who pay girls to talk to them have ruined an entire generation.
Yep. Sim culture is real and it's killing. It's killing the game. It's literally killing the game. Men's testosterone levels are down. Uh, men's fear of women have gone up, and men wanting to do things and earn money and invent things has all gone to pot because of simp culture. It literally is. It is the bane of men's existence to have these simps in existence. But men, it's it's the way of the world these days. Simps have literally cratered um, male status on their own.
That's just the bottom line. It's simping has got to go.
Yeah.
It has got to go. It has got to go right now. But the problem is it's so profitable for the companies facilitating the transactions. Yeah. OnlyFans, Twitch. Twitch used to be a gaming site. Yeah. Now it is a whore funnel to OnlyFans.
Facts. Yep. It is a literal e-girl fucking scam.
That guy Dan Clancy, or whatever the guy's name is, the CEO, that guy's a very creepy old man.
He one time showed us For You feed. It was all fucking thoughts. All the thoughts on Twitch were in his feed.
Sicko.
That's why they never get banned.
Sicko. Okay. Simping never works, guys. You may get temporary sexual access, but in most instances, you're just being strung along by a woman who does not like you. A woman you have to pay for is never worth the price.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. If your money, muscle, game, and frame is not on point, and you're susceptible to simp culture, it's never going to work. Women find those who simp deplorable. They'll never be with them in their lifetimes, and they only want your money. And once your money's run out, then they're out too. And many simps, if you can believe it, are rich guys. A lot of rich guys. Well, listen, that's what makes us simp culture are rich guys. But again, there's no actual love for these gentlemen. Like Pookie, a Pookie and Ray Ray will get further ahead with women than a simp. A Pookie and Ray Ray will get way further ahead with a woman than a simp. A Pookie and Ray Ray often, or a scammer, or one who's into life, male that is, who's in the game, the drug game that is, will get way further ahead with women than a simp. Because they offer money with danger. And that's exactly what a woman wants. They want that excitement. And if you put it on them, fait accompli. Simping never works. And most of these simps are some of the richest men in the world. They're simps. Sorry. Sad, but true.
Even $4.99 for her OnlyFans, okay? And here's the funny thing about simping. If you take a look at here, what's happening is the bottom 80% of men, they cannot really compete. So they take that money and they simp for that 5.6% million. And really, they're simping for more. They're simping for fat girls now. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. But this is an extreme example here.
5.6 just to eligible women that aren't fat, that are desirable.
And remember, the bottom 80% are from all demographics. They could be rich or poor. They could be fat or skinny. The bottom 80% of men of various looks, all of them are funneling the money to the 5%, 5.6% of women who are overweight and of normal looks. Remember, the overweight is still getting simped on. Remember that.
Terrible.
Kind of fat.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, 4.1 is not fat.
Gotcha.
I'm being generous with the model here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give some hope.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good. And what's funny is when these women don't like you, they will take all your money and they'll buy themselves plastic surgery. They'll
Yes.
get themselves a nice purse. They'll get themselves a nice dress. They'll get a fake ass. They'll make themselves hotter or even give that money to the Chads because they'll take the simp money, level themselves up, and try to get to the top 1% of men.
You know what's the biggest?
And it happens all the time. Gentlemen, you need to be orbiting around Chads and Tyrones, especially Chads and Tyrones. High volume men, yeah, you can orbit around them too if they're of a certain amount of good looks, yes. But it's the Chads and Tyrones you need to be. So that means you got to get money and you got to get your muscle up. Those are the two most important things. Game and frame, that can be learned over time. But money and muscle are key. They are so very key. And if you are orbiting, even orbiting around those certain women, then you may have a shot at these 5.6% of women who are there. Listen, I've been in the gym over 20 years, and believe me, muscle works. It's the easiest access to ladies, especially who are these 5.6 women. Oh yes, absolutely. Bodybuilders, yeah, they may die earlier, but guess what? They're going to get access to those 5.6% of women because they are part of that niche. They are definitely a part of that niche. And they are usually the Chaz and Tyrones, those with their muscle game up. I'll say that wholeheartedly.
Men take, I've seen in Miami especially, they'll have a girlfriend, wine a diner, spoil her, everything, right? But they buy her boobs. Oof. And I'm just like, bro. And then ask girls, I'm just curious, like, who did your boob job? Oh, my ex. Oh, where's he now? Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
You spent 20 bands. I'm God, did that even like you?
Yeah.
To make her look better for other men.
Wes Watson
Bro.
just did that.
Bro.
He's in prison now.
Haram!
And that girl's on some other dude's dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I told Wes about her before he even.
I know you did.
Bro.
That's another example of a guy who
Yeah.
has money, status, but no game. And he ruined his whole life because of two women.
Very true. Wes Watson definitely ruined his life because he thought that his muscle and his money through his muscle and his life story of being an inmate and not a very good one at that was going to get him women. But women saw him as a simp because they knew he had no game. He paid for everything. He bought women. He had no game. He had no frame. So women used him, and guess what? He'll spend a good amount of time in jail because of his stupidity. He and his friend's stupidity. He'll spend a good amount of time in jail where he belongs, quite simply. And that other woman with whom he bought her, boob job, cars, all these different things, she's off to the next guy. Maybe a Chad Tyrone. You never know. BBC gang, we up. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him the best, bro. But
I do too. I feel sorry for him, man. I pray for that guy.
Cause she finessed him, bro. Like she legit had a plan from the very beginning.
I know.
She never liked him
because he has no game. Like I was saying earlier.
Same thing could be said about Larry Wheels. Larry Wheels wiped up a flight attendant. She literally made fun of him to his face and flirted with other guys. But again, there was other things about Larry Wheels, like he was, well, he loved being a, what they say, a cuck? Yeah, I would say a cuck. Huge cuck. He loved being a cuck with his ex-girlfriends, and loved that these girlfriends love to be used, and this wife of Larry Wheels literally played into it. Was all up on Rampage Duke Jackson. On Rampage Jackson, not Rampage Duke, Rampage Jackson, the former MMA fighter, and wanted to sleep with him. And, there was, I think, that allegedly happened. Allegedly. Could have happened, but, again, we can't be too sure of these things. But, if you read between the lines, it was there. But, again, he was one of these top percent of men. Larry Wheels has millions of dollars, although he scammed a few and really let a few people down on business deals. However, he simped with this one girl who never really liked him, and now he has to pay her child support. I mean, pay her alimony until the divorce. and a few years after that too. But a fool is money are soon parted, as my mother would say. Let's continue.
Game allows you to understand. It gives you a spirit of discernment. Does this woman genuinely like me? But when you lead with your wallet, when you lead with status, when you lead with clout, when you lead with all this stuff, you can't really decipher if she likes you or not.
Remember Larry Wills? Similar situation.
I know.
Yep, I told him about Larry Wheeler. Just said it. Let's continue.
Who the fuck are you?
But if she likes you, she's going to talk to you, and you can shoot your shot.
Fair.
But you know what you need for that?
Game.
You need some game. You need some balls. That's the
Some
real.
cojones.
You need some real cojones.
Some cojones.
You know what I mean? So no, that's not a shot at anybody. But that's just this is ridiculous. 2026. It has been happening. You know these photo shoots for $5,000 is insane. Okay, so the next one, engaging in looks maxing, which can include the abuse of steroids, facial fillers, makeup, and extreme surgeries just to give men the illusion of being able to compete. But this does not give them discernment skills to identify good women who are capable of relationship, nor does it teach them the mandatory skills of leadership a man needs to have a relationship with women. Only learning game fixes this.
Now, again, throwing events just to meet women, that's where VIPs and where VIPs and bottle service came into play. Throwing events just to meet women, or literally having tables just to meet women with alcohol just to meet women. That's where that whole culture began, just to meet these normal women or these exceptional women, paying $5,000 for photo shoots just to go online dating. Yeah, that's sim culture. Looks maxing. Yeah, use of abuse of steroids, facial fillers, makeup, all these different things. You know, men killing themselves in order to achieve women, as they said. Guys who abuse steroids usually have access to women who are fit themselves. So, once you're fit, she'll be fit too, and that's the usual way it goes. But again, game is key. Let's continue.
Okay. So this also does not factor in the danger of abusing pharmacological drugs or the risk of botched surgeries by less competent doctors. Okay. This has also led to a recent phenomenon that has become more mainstream, and this is going to catch the attention of a lot of people here on this channel. Okay. And that's the passport bro movement. Okay, if you were to do anything, a lot of people say passport bro is cope, passport bro is weak, passport bro is for losers. No, the only losers are the people who haven't actually looked at the math of the situation right in front of them in the United States of America and realized the hopelessness of their situation. Okay, so if you take a look at what's happening exactly here, men are leaving the United States of America in record numbers in order to find better living elsewhere. And in 2025, the USA saw the first year since the Great Depression where more people left America than came into it. The Wall Street Journal did a story on this recently, and that is 2025 again. More people left America than came in.
And that is remarkable, but not surprising, because we've already seen such a phenomenon in business. Once American labor became too expensive, once Western labor came too expensive, they went to the Far East. They went to different economies within said vicinities. They went to Eastern Europe, and they went to economies where income was affordable, and that allowed for those economies to thrive. And the same thing's happening with men. Men are going abroad. They're going to Eastern Europe. They're going to South America. They're going to the Far East, to places like the Philippines, Thailand, Laos, and all these different countries, even South Korea, to a certain extent, South Korea and Japan. But they're going away to find better women who are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive on average, and better looking, to be fair, because women are getting bigger. And they're not abated. Even though the GLP remedy is here, men are still leaving because their attitudes aren't changing at all. And they see the alternative of going abroad, and they say they can get a fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive woman at a fraction of the price. Let's continue.
The first time that's happened since the 1920s when we had the Great Depression. Okay? So, and this is just a logical choice because once again, there are just not enough attractive women, thin women in the United States to fulfill the needs of men. It's just
Again, we said it. We just said it. As in business, they're doing it in dating. Men are just moving on and they're moving abroad to find their wives who will cook, clean, take care of kids, be the center of a family. It's happening in droves and to the dismay of USA women and Western women, period. But it's the way it is. It's listen, men are going to do what men are going to do. And if they find a better deal elsewhere, they're going to go to it.
just a logical conclusion that you have to come to. If you have the balls to do it, you know, me moving to Japan when I was 26 years old and broke was the best decision of my life. I changed, I grew, I dated so many fucking hot girls. And, you know, it was really one of the best decisions of my life. And compared to exactly what I'm experiencing right now in the United States of America, it is so depressing here as a man because you're just outnumbered. Because men pursuing the women that you're like are also like you're outnumbered fucking at least 4 to 1. Okay. So even top male streamer and popularity Clavicular has now officially decided to leave the USA. He says this was on the 13th, a couple days ago. My new strategy is going to be geomaxing, aka being a passport pro. The United States is far too brutal of a dating market to compete in. So I'm going to geomax to countries with poor economies to mog people. All right. You know it's bad here when a multimillionaire popular streamer who is good looking is also leaving the United States of America. Yep. Okay. And again, simps leading with their wallets have ruined dating. It's terrible. All right. But in case this presentation did not shock you enough, don't worry, it gets worse. As we're coming down to the last couple of slides here. You know, pay attention to this last part here, because if you're still thinking, because I just saw somebody in the chat saying, oh, rural America is better than the cities. You are so astronomically wrong. And I just pray that you rewatch this and look at the data. And more importantly, pay attention to these next two slides, because this here is the darkest part of the presentation. Okay, take a look at this. So, remember the 1.7% best case scenario for the dateable women out of the United States of America, right? That did not include low body count, mental health, beautiful face and bodily proportions. That's included like nice boobs, nice butt, right? Faithful, not a cheater. Is she covered in tattoos? Red flag for mental health. And, you know, fun.
And red flag in terms of body count. Usually tattooed women are not the best in terms of keeping their cooter under control. Let's continue.
Fact, women in America now have more tattoos than men.
Yep.
You know?
That is true.
Yeah, it's very.
Believe me, in certain places, especially in the likes of places like Brantford. Yeah, and I've been to the gyms out there, and believe me, women outnumbered men in terms of tattoos by far. By far, you can throw a rock and hit a woman with a tattoo. That's how much it is, especially in white community. Oh yeah, big time, big time. It is huge out there, and even in Toronto too. Same thing. In most of the Western world, it's the same thing. Yeah. Women covered in tattoos are not an anomaly anymore. It is the norm. The norm.
No bueno. Okay. So, does she have relationship skills? Simps ruin this for them, right? Because, like, when a man gets dumped, right? What happens? You got to go home. You got to look in the mirror. You got to be depressed. You got to think, okay, am I a loser? Am I fat? Am I ugly? Is my fashion bad? Do I smell bad? You know, what's going on with me? Why do I suck? How can I come back from this? Right. Right. But when a woman gets dumped in America, she has 7 motherfuckers ready to pick up where that guy just left off right there.
Yep.
She has a whole roster. She has a queue of men waiting for her. So,
yeah, and that's even for the obese among us. Absolutely, that's even for the obese among us. Women, they'll have a next guy coming straight on through. Absolutely, even bigger women have a huge roster of men that they can call to. So they can afford to be unaccountable. They can afford to make mistakes. They can afford uh, to be nasty and spiteful and terrible personalities and not nice people, because there will be someone else who will take that attitude. They'll take it. They will take it.
She doesn't get to do the most valuable.
As long as she doesn't have a multitude of children. Usually the multitude of children is a death sentence. That's the only way that, with different baby daddies, that's just like a death sentence. But if she keeps herself relatively out of trouble in terms of baby making, hope springs eternal.
Part of a relationship, reflection, figure out why you got dumped, right? And then also you have 7 guys ready to fucking back you up on one side, and you have fucking 10 girlfriends telling you because of feminism it's not your fault, men are the problem, and that just literally retards your growth as a person, and your relationship skills are not going to develop. Okay. And last but not least, this is something rare in America. Is she genuinely a nice person?
Yep.
I have no
Just talked
idea
about that.
why these women in America are just such bitches. But they're just not nice people. They're just very mean. They're very harsh. They're very coarse. They're very masculine. I don't know what's happened to them, but it's truly terrible.
Very toxic, very aggressive. They are, yeah. It's becoming rare and rare to find a nice woman these days, like a nice girl. Like, you have to look at her family background and all these different things, but to find a nice girl is becoming rare still.
Terrible. So this is the real math right here. This is what I call the unicorn funnel. So look at the top right there, right? 5.6 million women that are technically what we have qualified based upon my model, right? Now add beautiful face, nice ass, nice tits, proportions, right? Now you're down to about 2.2 million.
Yep.
Next one down, very important, not on psychiatric meds. 1 in 5 women are on medications, SSRIs, you name it. They are drugged up. Okay? And furthermore, now faithful, when you look at the GSS infidelity data, you're looking at a pool of 1.4 million, and then relationship capable, assuming a 65% pass. That's exactly. So you're really looking at approximately, now this is my own model. This is, my assumption model, but you're looking at about 900,000 women in the entire USA who fit this. 1 in 50 of her own age, and you're looking at an odds of 20 to 1. And I didn't include tattoos in this either.
That's why you got to go down in looks to go up in cooperation. You got to go down in looks to go up in cooperation. This is the reason why. 0.9% of the elite. So therefore, as stated, 20 to 1 odds, 1 in 50 odds of women their own age, 18 to 35, no single young childless and fit, beautiful face and proportions, not on psych meds, faithful relationship. You have to literally involve yourself with a sane, capable woman, who may have kids. That's what it comes down to these days, because you may have to take a kid or two. It's especially in the African diaspora, but it's definitely the African American community. It's very rare to find a woman who is over 30 who is childless. So you have to deal with a woman who has at least 1 to 2 kids. If she's who's young and single, under 27 BMI, with a beautiful face and proportions, non-psych meds, faithful, relationship capable, and relatively nice, chances are she's got kids. Chances are. If she's over 30, definitely. So that's why you have to get these girls real early, real quick, because they're usually snapped off the market. 20-1 odds, I take that. It's theory, yes, but I would believe that absolutely. You have to fight long and hard, so you have to make a lot of compromises as a man to get any woman to look at you, let alone stay with you. And you've got to make a lot of improvements as a man just to stay in these women's orbit, no matter what size, even for a 5, even for an obese woman here, as for an obese woman, you have got to make serious changes because she wants what the fit girl wants. And if she has 1 to 2 kids by one father, or even if it's with 2 daddies, men will still choose them because they need that contact, that intimate relief, that love and affection that women can provide. We're getting desperate here, guys. So that's why a lot of men are heading away. But still, an overwhelming majority will still stay within the confines of Western society, but definitely the United States in order to find a woman and take all kinds to have a relationship.
God, we're good. Bro, it's grits. There are no wives.
Grim.
Fuck.
No, look at the odds.
Grim
Disgusting.
So again, going from the top,
Grim.
one more time for the chat. 5.6 million assuming, down to 2.2 million assuming they have a pretty face and proportions. Not on psychiatric meds is 1.8. Faithful, 1.4. And the relationship capable is about 900,000. So you're looking at 21 odds. So it's you versus 19 other guys if you want to actually make this happen.
So you will take a woman who's obese with 1 or 2 kids. You will take that. You will take that. Especially if you are of African diaspora / FBA affiliation. You will take that if you're from that demographic. That's how desperate things are getting. And they will shame you if you don't. Do remember that. They will shame you if you don't. They'll still shame you if you don't. And they will question if you are elite yourself to not accept said deal. Easy work.
Oh, 20-1 odds. What do you think about that, Fresh? Myron, what do you think about that? Because those, if you want an actual decent woman, those are your odds right there in America.
Yeah, no, it's
Bro,
absolutely nuts.
I already outsourced my my talent, bro. I'm going to Europe.
And guys, real quick, smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube. For all my guys that are on Kick, we're on the front page of Kick. Make sure to follow the channel. You guys enjoy content like this, whether it's dating, politics, whatever it may be. Follow Myron Gaines X on Kick. A lot of you guys are in here from the front page on Kick, so follow that. But smash the like button, and then obviously you guys know home base for fresh and
women are everywhere. You're cooked if you don't learn game. You are done. You are going to die alone. That is a fact.
You're gonna die alone. It's a fact.
Okay, learning.
Well, you need to get at least, you got to be relatively fit and have a regular, a good amount of money, a good amount of income, at least above average. But game is truly necessary. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because if you don't have game, they'll see you as a simp. They'll see you as corny. They'll see you as a man not worth spending time with, and then you're really black pilled. Then you're really the man in his basement eating Cheetos.
Game simply means you understand female psychology and have the leadership skills
and not touching a part of the P for years
to lead and guide her. This also gives you the discernment to identify if a woman truly loves you, which is we call genuine desire, or if she's just using you for the time being, aka the placeholder boyfriend. Okay? Nothing can replace having game, and the biggest problem now is that men simply do not have game. They simp by default now.
Absolute truth. Men sit by default. They're willing to give up money instead of standing on principle, standing and in order to obtain a woman. They'll pay anything, they'll do anything in order to let a woman literally have their way with them.
Okay. If you're interested in having,
All right, we're gonna leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, it's sobering thought. I just had to get this out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go back to the big screen and sum up, ladies and gentlemen, what we were speaking of here. And that is this, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot be stated enough. The dating landscape has changed, and it started when the big bone started getting on the market. It started right there. That's when body positivity and fat acceptance started hitting things and loving anyone and any size, and Dove started doing their utmost to get the word out. That's where things started falling off the rails. That's where the dating scale really turned on its head. Now 1 to 3 is now a 5. Now a now a 4 to 6 becomes a 4 to 5 becomes a 6, and an adjustable 6, and now a a fit woman, a thin woman becomes an 8. She literally becomes an 8, unless she is whacked out, unattractive. Then then she could be relegated back to a sub 5. But even then, it's when bigger girls came on the market that's where things changed, and now we have a market where all girls want a certain type of man. Shout out to Whole Math and also Wheat Waffles. They all want a certain man through their social media usage, and where we are, where just to get a woman, obese woman with 2 to 3 kids is a win. It's a win. It is a literal win if you can have regular intimacy with that woman, and she sticks with you long term. That's where we are right now. Thank goodness for GLPs, but we won't see the effects of GLPs until way off into the future. And we're starting to see the effects of that. There's starting to be a regress balance, but again, as MLD stated, your women's attitudes, women's expectations, uh, women's sexual proclivities, all these different things are still at an all-time high, and wholeflation slash fatflation is real. It is so real. It is absolutely real. And it is not changing for ages. And through feminism and through the gynocracy, their attitudes won't change either. Because bigger girls think that they should get the Chads and Tyrone. See Lizzo. See it. You don't see a bigger girl who's rich and famous with a fatter guy himself. No, they go get skinny. They do get skinny. They'll pay for skinny. They'll do it. But Lizzo wants Chris Evans. Remember that. She wants Chris Evans. So that's how the dating landscape has changed, and that's why we say the bigger men grew, the less men could get laid and have intimacy. Why? Because they're being priced out of the market. They're being priced out of the market. Simple as that. And until GLPs come saving, men have two alternatives: either get money, get muscle, learn game, hold frame, or if you have the money, take off to a sunnier, distant clime where women are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive on a regular basis. and do what businesses did in the 80s. They left these shores and found new labor elsewhere. Well, men are leaving these shores and finding new women elsewhere. That's where we are in 2026. So hopefully GLPs can stem the tide, but with attitudes, with body counts, with the use of OnlyFans, it's only going to get worse. So what are we to do? Well, female robots are coming online. Just saying. Look out for that. And it's morbid story coming soon. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Glad we got to cover two topics here, that being Andrew Tate and his arrest, and also the modern dating game and how bigger women have led to less men getting laid, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm glad we got to cover it in one night because to get Mr. Tate on tape was important, but we had to continue this thing, so we got that done. So we'll be back this weekend on Talk Talk Live. We're ramping up things on this. We're ramping up things in terms of the long weekend. That is Caravana weekend's coming in 2 weeks. So again, I will be incommunicado during that weekend. So you won't see me for a weekend then. So I'm just letting you know in advance. That's when I have my fun. But anyways, thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with another show at the end of this week. Final round of shows, and then we'll be off for about 2 weeks, and we'll be back right after the long weekend here in Toronto and in Canada, quite simply. So thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk Live on IG, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. And please, gentlemen, do your utmost to stem this tide, because things are only going to get worse before they get better. We're going to say goodnight on IG here. There we go. And we're going to say goodnight on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me here. And